half performance last week when he threw for 3 touchdowns. Jim Ballard gets his first start at quarterback today for the Claymores. He'll be up against the Monarchs' Gold Rush line and their league best 25 sacks as London tries to put the wraps on Scotland to keep alive their World Bowl hopes. Good morning and welcome to Murrayfield in Edinburgh, Scotland for week 9 in the World League of American Football, and a little bit of national pride on the line as the Scottish Claymores entertain the London Monarchs. I'm Nick Halling, joined today by Ron Pitts, formerly of Green Bay and the Buffalo Bills, and really before we start, Ron, some controversy around this game.
Yeah, actually, you know, Steve Matthews, it was announced earlier this week by Jim Kreiner, the head coach of Scotland, that he would be replaced by Jim Ballard. Main reason, Matthews has not matured in the system. He's making a lot of mistakes. They feel Jim Ballard has matured in the system and will do what they want. This is kind of risky. I mean, you think about it. Matthews has taken you through the first half of the season. You're going to the World Bowl. All I got to say is it better work.
It better work for the Scottish Claymores. The London Monarchs would love to spoil this party. We're back with the kickoff in just a couple of moments.
Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of football wherever it's played. This Bud's for you. And by Ryder, we're there when you need us. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team.
We're in the northern outpost of the World League, Edinburgh in Scotland for week 9 action and the unofficial Battle of Britain. Lionel Taylor and his London Monarchs in town against Jim Kreiner and the Scottish Claymores. Lionel Taylor, who took over an 0-2 franchise and has done a solid job in keeping them in contention, whereas Jim Kreiner, well, his struggles were all last season. Took over the team 4 days before the start of the season, led them to a 2-8 record, but it's been success all the way this year, and in 2 weeks' time they'll be hosting the World Bowl here at Murrayfield. Nick Halling along with Ron Pitts getting ready for the action. Gavin Hastings, the former Scottish Rugby Union captain, kicks it away. Gaston Green and Profile Greer are the deep men. It's a shallow kick that's fielded by Mike Titley at about the 18-yard line, and Titley will go out of bounds at about the 23. So Preston Jones comes in. He's got the lowest interception number in the World League, just 4, and he's going up against the best defensive secondary in the World League. The Scottish Claymores have 17 interceptions, so that'll be an interesting duel.
Well, like you said, if there's any good news about what Preston Jones is doing in this offense, is not doing too much. He's not throwing a whole lot of interceptions, and turnovers, as you know, are key. This London team is plus 11 in the giveaway-takeaway ratio. That's #1 in the league.
On first down, Jones will throw and looks for Gaston Green, who is tackled by George Coghill at about the 31-yard line. They'll pick up 6 yards to bring up a 2nd down and 4. Gaston Green gets the start ahead of Russell White. That's a late switch. Tony Vincent in the backfield, Willie Hinchcliffe and Ed Howard out wide. And Mike Titley, the dangerous tight end.
Well, see, you never know in this offense. Lionel Taylor told us the other day, they do a lot of multiple formations. Each guy has to know each position, and they really don't know who they're going to start at the halfback position until almost game time.
Green has switched into the slot. Vincent in the backfield, but they're going to pass on second down. Willie Hinchcliffe gets it, and it's a first down, and Hinchcliffe gets away from Corey Duckett, and it takes Shannon Jones to come over and Mark Sander to come and finish him off, but Hinchcliffe coming up with a catch on the second play, and it's a first down.
Corey Duckett better give Hinchcliffe all the room he can, because Hinchcliffe is a world-class sprinter. He's been to the '88 Olympics running track. He runs a 40 and 4.25, and let me tell you, that's flying. That is as good as any NFL wide receiver right now playing.
He leads the Monarchs in receptions, reception yardage, and average per catch. Gaston Green goes in motion again, and they come out throwing again. Jones looks, gets Mike Titley wide open to the 40, eventually stopped by James Fuller, but Titley was in an ocean of room there, all the way down into Scottish territory at about the 34.
Right off the bat, Titley, they talked about getting Titley more involved in this game. He'll be on the left side of your screen, but they got a matchup problem. Titley against a linebacker, I think he's going to win that one. Titley, a very agile tight end, very strong as well. Mark Sander on the coverage there, 54.
But 26 yards for the London tight end. Green again in motion. Jones does hand off this time to Tony Vincent. He works and looks and has a first down and a lot more. 16 yards before George Coghill eventually tripped him up, and nobody touched Vinson. The offensive line that Tony Vinson is working behind features a lot of New York Jets. 3 of them allocated. Another one, Mark Lamb, who was in the Jets camp in pre-season. McIver, Wisdom and Simpson are all allocated from the Jets. The odd man out, Chris Lundberg.
That's a nice play to come back to after a big, long pass play like that to Titley. Come up with a delayed draw. And you can see, like you said, Nick, nobody touched him until he was 10 yards down the field.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Jones looks, has a man once again, and it's another first down. Ed Howard picks up around 12 yards. Shannon Jones was there and James Fuller was there. But this is impressive.
What you're seeing is the Claymore secondary giving up a lot of room. And notice the drop back, a 3-step drop. Not a lot of time for the defense to get in and get a pass rush. And a very quick route, taking advantage of that distance that the cornerbacks are giving the wide receivers.
So Howard picks up 12 yards. The man from the Falcons bringing up a 1st and goal at the 5. They go on the ground. Vinson trips his way inside the 5, but meets a blue brick wall and is pushed back. But that's the first decent defensive play the Claymores have come up with. They've had some injuries and some problems on their defensive line. Ty Partner's gone home, Herman Carroll has gone home, so DeWitt, Jeffcoat, O'Brien, and fit again Brian Froby get the start.
So there's a lot of questions on this team, not just on the offensive side of the ball, Nick, like we talked about, but as you just mentioned right there, Ty Parton gone, you know, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Now O'Brien has to step down. Gerald Jeffcoat.
Jones passes, touchdown, Willie Hinchcliffe, 4 yards. Hinchcliffe beat Forey Duckett. And that's his 2nd touchdown of the season.
This is the area of the field that Lionel Taylor said they had to improve in. The red area, scoring once they get down in there. On the right side of your screen, coming to the left, Hinchcliffe, just a quick opener inside. And notice the 3-step drop, and he beats Forey Duckett. We talked about Hinchcliffe's speed. He's got a little bit of quickness, too, and a nice pass by Preston Jones.
Kevin Hurst, the Englishman, attempts the extra point. No problems there. And a very impressive start from the London Monarchs, leading the Scottish Claymores 7-0 with a touchdown on their opening drive. Welcome back impressively down the field. Jones. And really, the Scottish defense that got pushed around last week against Amsterdam showed very little there, Ron.
Well, this is a situation now where Scotland's got to answer that call, because they're coming in here, London's coming in here with not as much on the line, obviously, or to play for as Scotland has, and they've just got to answer that.
Marcus Thomas picks up a poor kick at the 15 and gets out to the 30-31-yard line before he stops, so Jim Ballard will come in with pretty decent field position. And a young man with an awful lot to prove today from Division 3 Mount Union, allocated last year by the Cincinnati Bengals, never got a chance in London, hasn't had a chance here in Scotland until now.
Like we talked about earlier, one of the things Ballard will do that this Scotland coaching staff likes is that he understands the offense and he will run the offense. He's not going to freelance and go out on his own.
So Jim Ballard in the showcase. Gets some pressure, gets past the first guy, and runs out of bounds after about 4 yards. Kenny McIntyre in there to stop him. Smart play there, but obviously the 2 keys for the Claymores really LaChapelle and Stacey.
We talked about the quarterback, but LaChapelle and Stacey, you can see it right there. They are this offense. LaChapelle, got to keep an eye on him, like we said. He's got a touch of that flu and not feeling well. A very, very active secondary. The guy you want to watch here, James Fuller, he's the guy that will come down and make a lot of plays, always around the football. Tied for the lead in the league in interceptions with 5.
They've given Ballard 3 yards on the keeper, which brings up a 2nd down and 7. Now they pitch it back to Duran Stacey. He tries to dance his way through the middle and will pick up around 4 yards before he's gang tackled. Kevin Gaines, the strong safety, was in the thick of the action, but stopping Stacey, as Ron Pitts said, very much a key. Stacey gets blocking help from Kaya Hilo, but LaChapelle, the Kansas City Chiefs. And that brings up 3rd down and around 3 for the Scottish Claymores, looking to respond to that very... That'll be an interesting duel. And tripping and falling.
His footing. He tried to keep it crawl up to that marker, but they're well short. They're going to have to punt it away. Watch Saron Stacy carefully. Let's see if someone tripped him. He makes the cut right there on the blue patch, the emblem in the field, and he just kind of lost his footing. And that is a bad break for the Claymores. They're going to have to give that ball up.
So, Paul McCallum, who's had a lot of experience in the Canadian Football League, will kick it away. Gets past the first guy, but doesn't get past Corey Duckett. So London will take over at their own 21-yard line, and the London Monarchs still alive in this game. They needed the Barcelona Dragons to lose in Frankfurt last night, and they did. Barcelona took an early 14-point lead, but Steve Pallur, the former Dallas Cowboy, came back and gave Frankfurt to be playing in the World Bowl.
Controlling their own destiny.
There's still a very faint hope for the London Monarchs, but their chances... Titley did a little dance, the tight end, before the snap. Our referee is Tony Correnti.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 82 on the offense. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
So a 5-yard penalty.
Titley, of course, a guy last year caught a lot of balls, all-world tight end, caught 45 balls last year. But they clamped down on him in the beginning of this year. He's been kind of quiet till today.
Gaston Green in motion on 1st and 15. Preston Jones has a lot of time, and it's batted up in the air. And that was a dangerous play there. That ball hung in the air for a long time. And a flag again.
Illegal touching of a forward pass by an offensive lineman, number 65. Penalty is loss of down, 2nd down.
That's Tim Simpson from the New York Jet, the guards.
He'll be number 65. Now, watch what he does to the ball here. That ball, it hits him. Now, see, that's the ball just hit him. It wasn't a touch. He didn't reach up and touch it. The ball just hit his helmet. I don't even know if it hit his helmet. It looked like it hit someone else's helmet.
He had his back to the ball as well.
That's just a plain incomplete pass.
And they don't seem to move the ball back either. So confusion all around. It is still 2nd and 15, and Jones goes for Willie Hinchcliffe. Corey Duckett is there, and it's incomplete, and there are no flags. They're obviously going to test Duckett. Yeah, and they should. They set Duckett up with the short passes we saw in the earlier series. But that ball is underthrown by Preston Jones, because Hinchcliffe, with that 4.25 40 speed, he had Corey Duckett beat. See right here, the show's over. They're coming back for the football. But about 5 yards earlier, right there, now if that ball is led up the field and over the outside shoulder, the right outside shoulder, Hinchcliffe is going to come down with it, because Corey Duckett is not in position, not in phase, as they say. I've spoken to defensive backs all around the league. They all fear his speed. Hinchcliffe is a real burner. Jones goes again for Hinchcliffe, and that's tipped away, and that's a smart play by Corey Duckett, who's just got a hand to it, and it's incomplete, and that'll bring out Sonny Fexico in the punting unit. Now that's just great defensive there. That time he is in phase. Watch it from here, folks. Bump and run coverage. That little hit right there took about 2 yards off of Hinchcliffe. Now he can still run, but that gave him time, gave Corey Duckett time to get in position, and he makes a great play on the football. Now, if he wants to take that to the next level, he's going to intercept that football. If you can get one hand on it, you can get another one on it and intercept it. Sonny Fexico gets off the kick. Marcus Thomas back at about his own 32. Great hit in the special teams, and Thomas takes it close to midfield. That was a superb hit from George Coghill. He loves to hit this guy. So Jim Ballard will take over in excellent field position, but it's London leading Scotland 7-0. Watch the left side of your screen. 34, George Coghill is going to come up and clean up on Montroy, 23. And for those of you who don't know what that's called getting your sinuses cleaned out. And the Scottish Claymores take over at their own 48. Excellent field position. Jim Ballard drops back to pass. He has a man wide open and close to first down yardage as well. Ron Dickerson eventually pushed out by Kevin Gaines, the strong safety. The London Monarchs defensive line minus William Perry the Fridge, who went home this week with a knee problem. He's probably gone for the season. Jeff Hunter and Jerry Drake, the defensive ends. Lewis Capes and Blaine Berger will see extended playing time in the absence of the Fridge. Berger really has come on well this season. And they've given Dickerson 10 yards, which brings up a first down at London's 41. On the ground, Saran Stacey meets trouble, gets nowhere, no gain on the play. Looked like Blaine Berger was in on that stop. Greg Black possibly with a help, some assist as well, number 74 from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The linebacking crew, Smith and Allen on the outside, and the team's leading tackler, Rick Newbill, on the inside.
You talked about those guys being tough inside right there. Blaine Berger stepping up.
Second down and 9. They've given Stacey 1 yard. LaChapelle goes in motion and all sorts of movement. Horace Morris took a jump and is saying that he was pulled.
I think Dickerson on this left side here, right there on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
He
Prior to the snap, false start, number 23 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Horace Morris, very smart of Horace Morris. Detect movement to go ahead and come across the line of scrimmage. You were encroached, you were drawn off.
5-yard penalty will bring up 2nd and 14 for Jim Ballard. Getting his first World League start. Again, motion from the dangerous Sean LaChapelle, and everyone points. Ballard goes over the middle. He's got his man once again. Dickerson will pick up around 12 or 13 yards. Rick Newbill there on the stop with Kenny McIntyre. McIntyre really the leader of the London defensive secondary. They're real ball hawkers, these guys. McIntyre has 5 interceptions. Studstill and Crocker have 4. Kevin Gaines, the strong safety, with 1. But any one of them can hurt you. And 3rd and 3. LaChapelle trying to sow confusion with his movement in the backfield. Ballard fakes the handoff, gets pressure, rolls away nicely. Good, smart play from Jim Ballard. Horace Morris eventually got around, but Ballard showing tremendous composure under fire.
He looked for Sean LaChapelle. Sean LaChapelle will come right down the middle of the screen. They come off the play action, but Sean LaChapelle is covered right there. He's looking for LaChapelle. He doesn't have it. This is the sign of a heads-up quarterback. Abort the mission, now get the first down, move the chains. Very smart football.
All the way down to London's 29-yard line. 5.5 minutes left, first quarter. London ahead by 7, but Scotland starting to put something together offensively. Ballard drops the pass on first down, swings it out to Dickerson, who took his eyes off the ball just at the wrong time.
That ball's got to be caught. He got turned around just a tad bit by Ballard, but still, you're going to see a ball hit a receiver right in the hands. He's got to catch that ball. Kreiner, I'm sure he's not too happy with that one.
Well, he knows.
Those are the kind of plays that get you sent home early.
Yeah. He was wide open. Second down and 10. On the ground, Stacey loses his footing again and will only get a couple before the Monarchs swarm all over him. Nick Smith, the first man there, but Stacey having 1 or 2 problems.
Well, the field is not wet. If you look at the Amsterdam Rheinfire game there. The field was not wet. We had a little bit of rain this morning, like we mentioned, but not much. Nobody appeared to have a problem with footing and pregame warm-up. And yet we've seen Saran Stacey slip twice.
We saw Amsterdam leading the Rheinfire there. London need a Rheinfire win to stay alive. And a win here, of course. Ballard on third down finds Stacey, who does not fool Andre Allen, who read that play all the way, and they can drop 5 more yards on that one, and probably they're out of field goal range. Smart play from Allen.
They threw the ball right into basically the coverage by the London Monarchs. You see all the linebackers. Look at all the white shirts flowing to the left. Look at the white shirts now. That play has no chance.
So Andre Allen pushes the Scottish Claymores 5 yards further back, which means that Paul McCallum will now attempt a 51-yard kick. It'll be good for 4 points if he gets it.
This will be extra points.
That's a World League rule, 50 yards or more, and it's 4 points. McCallum certainly got the distance.
He's got it.
Who's that thing? And that's good for 4. What a kick.
McCallum hit from long distances in pregame warm-up. He was good from 55 on out, and he made that one look awful easy.
So it's London leading Scotland at 7-4.
Base, it's a whole different story.
Well, curiously enough, in this fixture last year, there was a 4-point field goal. Don Silvestri of the London Monarchs, the man responsible that time. And here we are, history repeating itself. And that 1 point proved to be the difference between the two teams. Profile Greer and Gaston Green, the former Pro Bowler from the Denver Broncos, back deep. McCallum with the kick. Profile Greer will not get a return because it goes straight out of bounds. A flag comes in, and Paul McCallum was just undone a little bit.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
We can't bash them too much.
No.
After all the guy did.
How do you kick a 51-yard field goal and then kick a kickoff straight out of bounds?
I'll tell you, honestly, they're trying to kick away from Gaston Green is what they're trying to do in directional kick. And you see that back in the NFL. A lot of kickers cannot be accurate kicking to a side of the field.
It gives Preston Jones a first down at his own 40-yard line. The first offensive series from London, excellent. The second series, non-existent. Russell White goes in motion. On the ground they go. Vinson tries to shove his way behind that line, but will only pick up 2 yards at best because you can't push Gerald Jeffcoat around too much, and Mark Sander was there as well to help. And there's Paul McCallum. What do you say to Paul McCallum? Nice kick, but work on those kickoffs, Paul.
Well, one question I've always had with this London team is you got so much talent at the running back position. And just off the top of the show, we saw different guys starting than we thought. I wonder, can you get all the usage out of that talent you have?
Jones goes upstairs, has a lot of time, and looked initially for Russell White, who was jammed up by James Fuller, and that's incomplete, and brings up third down and about 7.
He looked for Hinchcliffe initially. They're doing a good job of putting the double coverage on Hinchcliffe. They start out with a man-to-man situation, a man-to-man look, and they sneak over a linebacker or a safety from inside. That's why you see Preston pull that ball down.
Tells you something of the threat that Willie Hinchcliffe does pose. I mean, here's a guy from New Zealand playing in the World League, and he's leading his team in receptions and yardage. They've got to watch him.
Yeah, and this is a situation where you start to go away from Hinchcliffe, too. Use him as a decoy.
Russell White is the motion man. Jones looks, has a man. It's a first down to Mike Titley. Once again, Arnold Allay from the linebacker position, the first man there, but you can give Titley 12 yards and a first down into Scotland territory.
Talking to Ray Wilsey, the defensive coordinator of the Scotland Claymores, he was awful concerned about Titley. And Titley, like we said, has been somewhat quiet, but yet today he was concerned about Titley, and now we see why. They're picking on the linebackers, the outside linebackers, which for this team may not be their strongest area.
2 catches, 2 first downs for Mike Titley. On the ground, Tony Vinson gets past the first guy, but he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. A good swarming tackle there. John DeWitt will be credited with it. In this revamped defensive line for the Scottish Claymores. They've lost Ty Parton, they've lost Herman Carroll, they've lost David Webb. And Jason Buck, the former Cincinnati Bengal first-round draft choice, flew in this morning.
That's right. That is, you are hearing exactly what you thought you heard. That is the Jason Buck, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals, played 2 Super Bowls, one with the Bengals, another with the Redskins.
Russell White in motion, they show blitz. Jones is in trouble and goes down. The blitz came, Mark Sander came through unblocked. And that's a huge loss for the London Monarchs, around 12 yards.
Look at the hole in the middle of the screen. That'll be right for Mark Sander, 54. There he is. Preston doesn't even see him until he gets to the end of his drop back, and by that time it's too late. That's just a good call by defensive coordinator Ray Wilsey, timing that up. He hasn't shown that inside blitz today yet. That time he showed it, and it got home.
And it's the first sack of the season for Mark Sandler, the former Miami Dolphin, and it brings up third and a long way.
Third and forever.
Monarchs. Not a team that's had that much success with the deep pass. Jones looks, has time. Now he's got a man. Mike Titley, though, will be about 12 yards short of what he needed. And that'll bring up Sonny Fexico in the punting unit again. There was nowhere to go for Preston Jones.
He had plenty of time. Most quarterbacks will have an average of 2.5 seconds to throw the ball. I'm going to guess he's got about a good 3.5. He slides. Look at the protection up front. That's a defensive secondary sack is what it is. They stayed back around the first down marker, and they made them throw underneath.
They may just get this off before the clock. They do this with the last play of the first quarter. Fexico gets a high one that wobbles and dies at about the 21-yard line. So it's 7-4 at the end of the first quarter.
Hey. Who's your man?
The London Monarchs with a 3-point lead. But Paul McCallum with that 51-yard field goal, reducing the deficit. We'll be back.
And now Budweiser presents World League of American Football Fact. Scottish Claymore defensive coordinator Ray Wilsey held the same position with the Monarchs in 1991, helping to lead London to a World Bowl victory that year. Hey, World League, this Bud's for you.
Flags of Scotland and England flying next to each other. We may be enemies, and most of the time we may be friends, but on a sports field, forget it. Scotland and England, bitter rivals. And it's the south of the border Sassenachs that have got the early advantage, but only by 3 points. Scotland with a chance to bounce back, and Ballard goes upstairs, has Sean LaChapelle all the way to the 40-yard line. Huge play. Darren Studstill on the stop for LaChapelle, the danger man once again.
Sean LaChapelle ran the perfect route. They faked like they were going to the outside corner, out to the right side of your screen. But watch down the middle of the field. You're going to see an 88 appear. And that ball thrown perfect. Look at it, it's on a line, it's on a rope. In between the two safeties, Studstill was on the way. He couldn't get there. And you tell me Jim Ballard doesn't know it, and that's why Jim Ballard's there. He knows exactly where to go with the ball.
He's impressed me so far as Jim Ballard. Very calm, very composed, making a lot of right decisions. Flag comes in as Saran Stacey plows his way for 3 or 4 yards, met by Kevin Gaines, the strong safety. And how often have we seen this with the Claymores? LaChapelle and Stacey. If it's not one, it's the other.
Holding on the offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
That's Lancino, the center.
From the Rams, there's LaChapelle, came into the game with 890.
Yeah, LaChapelle's not feeling well. You can tell. He's been on. Look at those numbers, boy. Those numbers are feeling pretty good.
20 yards and pop on 43 catches. That's phenomenal. And we talked to him yesterday. He said, I'm not really a records kind of guy, but he's got to be looking at some records because he's going to break some of these World League records this year. Ballard on 1st and 20 after the holding penalty. Goes upstairs again. And a flag comes in late. Yo Murphy caught the ball for a 13-yard gain, but they're saying it was out of bounds and there was a flag. Kenny McIntyre was over there.
This is a deep comeback. Murphy right here going to try to drive off McIntyre. McIntyre doesn't bite it.
Well, he's in bounds.
10-yard penalty from the previous
and you
spot.
see that push off. He gave him that shoulder, that arm right there at the end to push McIntyre away. Boy, McIntyre's got a lot of guts to sit down on a receiver when he's blowing up the field. That tells you he doesn't respect Yo Murphy's speed at all.
And that could come back to hold Kenny McIntyre, but you know what? Penalties have really hurt the Scottish Claymores. You had that catch to the London 40 from Sean LaChapelle. They're back to their own 40 now on a 1st down and 30.
Yeah, that completely erases the play with LaChapelle. That meant absolutely nothing now.
Stacey goes in motion out of the backfield. Ballard forced to pass, gets pressure out. They found Yo Murphy will only get 3 or 4. Jerry Drake, the first man there, with some assistance. And London will give the Scottish Claymores a play like that every time. None of this the fault of Jim Ballard, of course. The young man making his first ever start. Sat on the bench in Scotland this year, in London last year. Was on the books of the Cincinnati Bengals, and they kind of got rid of him without ever seeing what he could do. But now it's his chance to show NFL scouts, and indeed the World League, what he's got. Willie Tate, the tight end, in motion. On second and very long. Ballard with a lot of time. Finds Tate. Tate stopped by Kenny McIntyre, and it'll be close to first down yardage.
One of the reasons that Ballard is able to make these throws is because of protection. Let's watch number 78, Keith Wagner, allocated player from the Redskins. Now that right there is taking care of your house. When your quarterback can hit his drop at the end of a 7-step drop and step up and have time to deliver, you got him in an awful comfortable rocking chair.
And Willie Tate, another Kansas City Chiefs player like Sean LaChapelle, has given the Claymores a 27-yard pickup and the first down to London's 30. Just over 12 minutes remaining, first half. On the ground, it's not worked again. Swarming tackling coming in from the London Monarchs, and a loss of 5. Big Smith, Andre Allen, Kenny McIntyre, they were all there. And Saran Stacey is having a tough afternoon, just like he did last week against Amsterdam.
Yeah, well, just as we talked about Drake being taken care of by Wagner, he shoots the gap that time and makes the play.
Respect for this London Monarch defense, and rightly so. Number 1 against the pass. Although Ballard is doing a pretty decent job, finds the outlet man, Ron Dickerson, who's got a lot of running room. Oh, could be gone, only Stud still to beat. And is he in his touchdown? What a play from Dickerson. Stud still had the angle, but Dickerson just too far.
He wants downfield, and the slip right there. And Dickerson does a great job of going into the end zone, pulling Mark Montroy, Darren Studstill, 27, into the end zone, getting the 6.
And Jim Ballard has looked very, very composed in this first half. And a timeout on the field. The Scottish Claymores have a 10-7 lead and an extra point opportunity to increase that to a 4-point lead.
Funny, Scotland came out and they won the toss, but they elected to kick the ball off to London. London's right now last in the league in total offense. Perhaps maybe Jim Kreiner thinking, we're going to stop you first off the bat, deplete your confidence level, and then we're going to go to work on you on offense. It didn't quite go that way, but as we see, Scotland starting to march the ball back down the field.
And that was Dickerson's first catch of the year.
Right twin up, sail, 19 under. Right twin up under, sail, 19 over. No penalty. No penalty by Yo. You better get ready to repeat it.
In the officials' timeout here at Murrayfield as we wait for the extra point attempt. Well, 2 weeks from now, we'll be back here in Murrayfield for the World Bowl. The Scottish Claymores will host an opponent still to be determined, although right now the Amsterdam Admirals and the Frankfurt Galaxy must be the favourites. Those two meet in Amsterdam next week. Could be all on the line for those two. Although right now all 5 of the teams still just about in contention. But if you're a thinking man, I think you've got to be thinking in terms of Barcelona and Amsterdam filling that question mark. The Scottish Claymores, no question at all. They'll be here. They'll be hosting it. And it promises to be quite a party in 2 weeks' time.
That starts to make you wonder a little bit. Now, if you're Jim Kreiner, how many of your people do you really want out here to play? Sean LaChapelle, not feeling well today. Makes a big play for you. He's going to do that, but you don't want to get your big boys hurt.
Joe Murphy there. He's had a very quiet year. Just 10 catches going into game, a player with a lot more potential than that. Steve Matthews always went to Sean LaChapelle, and why not when you've got a player of LaChapelle's ability? And there's Ron Dickerson, as I said, his first touchdown of the year, another player with great ability. And it looks like the Scottish Claymores are going to try to rub some salt in the wound here and go for a 2-point conversion. In fact, it's not a touchdown. I think that's what they've done. It's a first down. And it's intercepted.
Ballard better get him.
What a turnaround. Kenny McIntyre still with running room and could be gone. Stacey's there, and Stacey has to make the tackle and can't. McIntyre still on his feet, and he's eventually brought down by Purvis Hunt. And a flag comes in, and there's pushing and shoving on the sideline. What a turnaround. We thought it was a touchdown, and it wasn't. It was a first down, and then an interception, and the Monarchs very much alive.
There seemed to be a lot of confusion as to what, first of all, that they didn't score on the Claymore sideline. Then you saw the discussion between Ballard and Kreiner as to what they wanted to run down here. They shuffled some people in and out. And then, of course, the worst possible scenario of all for the Claymores happens. He throws an interception on the goal line, basically.
Well, the officials have said he stepped out of bounds at the 2-yard line. We're hearing now. Let's hear
the extra point attempt is no good. At the conclusion of the play, personal foul number 72 against Scotland will be enforced 15 yards on the kickoff.
But the scoreboard still says 7-4. Total confusion here at Murrayfield. It wasn't an extra point attempt. They're saying he stepped out of bounds. But the Scots are now saying, well, if it was an extra point attempt, we should have another 6 points on the board. So Tony Correnti better straighten this situation out.
And the most points, if it was an extra point attempt, that McIntyre would have received if he'd taken that ball into the end zone would have been 2 points.
And meanwhile,
they're treating this as if it were an extra point attempt.
And now what's happening?
Or are they?
Well, they are saying it's an extra point attempt. And the scoreboard has finally got up to date with everything.
That was an extra point attempt. McIntyre intercepts the ball. He doesn't score. So now they're kicking off.
We heard from the officials.
The official was wrong.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, we used it a couple of games ago.
Okay, when that's not do anything we haven't practiced. Okay? We don't, though. It's obvious that we don't. Okay? Let's not fuck it up.
We didn't. We still should have.
And the reason the Claymores, of course, are kicking off at their own 15 is because of the personal foul penalty by Bierman.
Well,
I believe the official was confused on that.
He certainly confused everybody else. Gavin Hastings picks it up from his own 15. Profile Greer fields at his own 22. And over the 25, still on his feet. And gets out to about the 35, still dancing around. Greer gets it all the way to the 45-yard line. So the 15-yard penalty really hurt the Scottish Claymores. Well, Preston Jones and Lionel Taylor still confused. The London Monarchs very confused. And the playoff picture is equally confused. But I think we can say, really, that Amsterdam, if they win today, will go 5-4. And they play Frankfurt next week for the right to go to the World Bowl.
Yeah, but the key to this is the guys on top right there, Frankfurt. They control everything by just winning.
Well, normal service has been resumed on the field now, I'm delighted to report. The London Monarchs have a first down at their own 46. Oh, no, there's flags and whistles. This is going to be one of those games, Ron.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 65 on the offense.
That's Tim Simpson.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
The guard from the New York Jets, so they'll push it back 5 yards.
When you're that strong, you have a tendency to want to get all that muscle going. Tim Simpson has a 575-pound bench press. Strongest man in the history of the University of Illinois.
I thought you were going to say strongest man in the history of the universe for a minute there. He may be a contender. The Scottish Claymores bring out their nickel package on 1st and 15. Jones with time goes upstairs, and this time, ironically, overthrows Lindsay Collins, who doesn't quite have Willie Hinchcliffe's burning speed.
I think the Monarchs have to be careful right now not to panic in a sense. Claymores have come back and made a couple big plays. There's no reason for them to try to get all this right now. You know, I think they should stay with their offense. They've had controlled passing. They need to get back to Titley and work the ball down the field. I don't think they need to try to air it out and get it all in one shot.
Preston Jones has the lowest interception number in the World League, but all those other numbers are the lowest as well. That's the bad news for Preston Jones and the Monarchs. Russell White, the motion man. Jones steps up, pressure comes, but he's got Edwin Howard, who will pick up around 16 yards of the first down. George Cockhill on the stop. James Williams there too, but they'll move the chains.
Good job by Preston of looking off the linebackers. I want you to watch underneath. Watch 54 Sander. See the way he disappears? That's going to open up the passing window, the passing lane right there. If that linebacker, even though he may be a good 12 yards in front of the ball where the ball is caught, he's still in what's called the throwing lane. It's hard for the quarterback to make that throw. He would have had to loft it over the defender.
Ed Howard from the Atlanta Falcons, as he's just mentioned. Jones underthrows his intended receiver. Russell White, that'll be incomplete and bring up a second down and 10.
Claymore show a little inside blitz. Sander comes from the inside. Jones from the outside. You can watch him. There's 54 Sander right in the middle. Actually, he fakes and doesn't come. But on the opposite side, Jones, he comes in between the tackle gap. And Ale came on the other side.
That brings up second down and 10. London Monarchs down by 3. They fake, but the blitz is on, and it's intercepted. And Chris Lundberg stops John DeWitt, who could have been gone for 6. Another huge turnover for the Scottish Claymores.
Yeah, that's looks like John DeWitt there made the interception, defensive end. And I have seen so many defensive ends drop that ball. He'll be on the left side of your screen, 97. Watch, he pushes on Vincent just right there, but now look at this. He catches the ball. That is a great job of watching the ball into your hands. And he tried to run with it. He tried to score.
Well, that's his first interception, the man from Vanderbilt. He was a walk-on in college. He played all 4 years. So, the Scottish Claymores, with excellent field position again, pitch it back to Saran Stacey, tripped up on a loose ball and recovered by Kenny McIntyre.
Oh, I tell you, somebody told me last week that Kenny McIntyre, 28, wouldn't come up and hit. He's only 5'11", 175. Well, you make the call here. He'll be from the right side of your screen. Watch the play he makes. When he takes out the lead blocker,
And the
Dickerson.
the ground obviously caused the fumble, so no turnover.
And then he knifes through and hits Stacey and causes the fumble, or the ground causes the fumble. That's a great play.
Hey, who hit it, Brady?
And they've given Saran Stacey 1 yard. Second down and 9. Ballard, pressure comes. Ballard gets it off. Has a man. Dickerson again down that sideline. McIntyre on the stop. But another first down for the Scottish Claymores, and Ron Dickerson is getting extended playing time here because I'm sure, as you say, Jim Kreiner is resting some of his regulars.
Dickerson has that down very well. Kind of reminds you of the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers West Coast style of offense. Quick expansion game, quick timing rhythm, ball thrown on time. Ballard's got a good touch of floating that ball just over the defender.
All the way to the London 26. Movement at the line, flags everywhere. Certainly a couple of Monarchs jumped, but whether they were drawn or not is something the officials will have to determine.
Offsides on the defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Here's what did it. You could see Ballard's head bob a little bit, inflecting those signals.
And Blaine Berger bought it. So 5 yards against the London Monarchs brings up first down and 5 for the Scottish Claymores. And again, they go on that fake. They do a lot of play-action fakes Rick Newbill eventually stopping Dickerson. That'll be very close to first down yardage. Well, there's all sorts of trickery on that Scottish Claymores offense. It is indeed a first down as Lionel Taylor watches on from the sideline. First down from the 15. Ballard drops, has a lot of time. Can't quite find him. Kenny McIntyre was there all over Sean LaChapelle, who looks in vain at the official and then suggests a visit to the opticians.
It's going to be hard to get this route on Kenny McIntyre. Kenny McIntyre is sitting on LaChapelle, meaning that he's going to play off, but any twitch that LaChapelle makes that indicates a short route, he's going to explode up on it. And that's exactly what he did. And he looked, and he was asking for a little pass interference there.
Two guys are going to be seeing a lot more of each other when this World League season is over. They'll be testing each other in Kansas City's training camp. Second down. Ballard has a lot of time again. Has he got a man again? Broken up. That was close. Yo Murphy.
Well,
coverage from Kevin Gaines.
I'm not so sure that Yo Murphy shouldn't have caught that ball. It looked as though he put it there, but he put it in between some traffic.
Meanwhile, we have another flag in the London backfield.
Holding on the defense, number 27. 5-yard
is Darren Studstill, free safety.
First down.
And that's a first down to the 10.
27 in the middle of your screen. Darren Studstill, he loses Yo Murphy for a while.
But how does that flag go on number 27? He didn't have a Claymore anywhere near him.
One of those things. Must have been his turn. I don't know.
There are some strange things happening out there.
It looked
today.
as though maybe a Monarch defender got a hand on it, but I still think
27.
I still think Yo Murphy should have come up with that football.
First and goal at the 10. They give it to Dickerson, who is wrapped up by Jeff Hunter for a loss of a yard, maybe two.
Looked like they were trying to run an option play. I saw Saran Stacy back behind Dickerson in a tailback pitch position, like they were going to try to pitch it.
Jim Kreiner watching on the sidelines with some concern. It's a curious kind of game, this, so far. Well, the Rhine Fire have gone ahead of the Amsterdam Admirals, and that's good news for the London Monarchs, who need a Fire win to keep their hopes alive. But, of course, it's no good if the London Monarchs lose this game. The Fire still in the picture if they beat Amsterdam. Second and long. Stacey gets the ball. Has some blockers and is tripped after a pickup of around 4 yards. Rick Newbill and Kenny McIntyre trailed him all the way.
The longer you can make a play bounce and continue outside, the better chance you have of your pursuit getting to it. See, they stretch it out a little bit here. Nice block there on the linebacker. But Saran Stacy can't turn up quite as soon as he'd like to. A defender's able to get a few more steps toward the ball and make a pretty decent play.
Saran Stacy over 600 yards on the season. This is third and goal from 8 yards out. Scotland leading by 3, looking for more. Ballard looks in the direction of Yo Murphy. Sean Crocker was there, and neither of them had any chance at the catch. It's incomplete, and that will send out Gavin Hastings to attempt the first field goal of his career. Well, Gavin Hastings has converted 18 of his 20 extra points. One was wide, and one was blocked. And this is going to be in the region of 24 yards. And there'll be a huge cheer if he makes it, because this man is such a hero in Scotland and has had so many huge days in this stadium. It's on its way. It's high enough, but it's wide. And Gavin Hastings will be very disappointed with that. So it remains the Claymores 10, the Monarchs 7. We're back after this.
So you can't keep up with your old ma, huh? Not with this headache. Where's your your Tylenol?
Oh, it's Advil now.
Mom, you never used anything but Tylenol.
Well, times change. There you go. Now, these days, it's Advil I trust.
A lot of people do.
And you know, 2 Advil work better on tough headaches than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol.
Welcome to the 90s, Mom.
Why, thank you.
For safe and effective pain relief, Advil. Nothing is proven to work better or last longer.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long-distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint Cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint Cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found...
Well, Gavin Hastings is one of the most successful kickers in the history of rugby union, but as he said before he started on this attempt to become an extra point kicker and a field goal kicker, the mechanics are so different. But those numbers really are phenomenal for rugby, but it's a completely different game kicking in an American football environment.
He was out before pregame warm-ups teaching George Coghill how to pitch the ball back rugby style.
So the London Monarchs get a break. Gaston Green tries to buy himself some running room, but George Coghill made a stop there after a pickup of about 3 yards. Coghill, who has the ability seemingly to be everywhere on this field.
Well, that's great acceleration by Green inside. That's what he did when he was in the NFL. He could get from point A to point B. Acceleration through the hole before it closes better than anyone. That's something that a guy like Emmitt Smith does real well. Can get through the hole, see it, recognize it, get through it, and pick up extra yards.
2nd down and 6 for the London Monarchs, who offensively have been very quiet after that impressive opening drive. Gaston Green will probably lose a yard there. Shannon Jones, number 58, the first man there.
Noticed a lot of gang tackling by this Claymore's defense today. They do a good job of that. They're number 2 in the league against the rush. Ray Wilsey, the defensive coordinator, is taking a page out of his old book from the Oakland Raiders, getting everybody around the football playing that tenacious kind of football.
3rd down. The Monarchs down by 3. Jones goes upstairs, has a man. Hinchcliffe probably will be short of the 1st down. Flory Duckett was there, but a little bit of inexperience showing from Hinchcliffe, who didn't find the 1st down marker.
No, Willie's not going to get that spot right there. He's going to try.
They've given him quite a favorable spot. It'll be close,
they sure did. He knows he's got to get beyond that 1st down marker and make that catch. He tells some good stories about Fred Biletnikoff with the Raiders when he was with the Raiders camp trying out, how he and Fred had a lot of time spent together just learning little techniques, the little things about hand placement and running your routes perfectly. And
not good enough for a 1st down there from Hinchcliffe. That brings out Sonny Fexico, who will kick to Marcus Thomas, who is not the regular punt returner for the Scottish Claymores. Fexico gets off a high kick. That has Thomas backpedaling to his own 15. Roel Blenman, the first man there, but he gets past Blenman and gets past McTroy and still on his feet. Thomas looks to go, but is stopped at about the 46-yard line. What a turn of speed. Victor Exafubadike was in the thick of it, but Thomas has given the Claymores excellent field position to try and mount another drive when we return. 1:45 left, 1st half.
Every good return is made by great blocking. Once again, you're going to see some great blocking on the return. Mark Thomas does a nice job of finding the wall, but you're going to see some great blocks. There's one again on Mark Montroy, and here's another one right there. Darrell Crawford got cleaned up. Mark Thomas, I tell you, for a guy that big, well over 200 pounds, he moves along pretty nice.
He can move. There's a lot of teams in this league would have Marcus Thomas in their starting backfield. 1st and 10. Jim Ballard looks to build on the lead. He has Scott Cooper, the Scottish national player, all the way down to the 15-yard line. Kevin Gaines on the stop. Scott Cooper's first catch of the afternoon.
Very nice of going away from everybody you've been going to. Forget LaChapelle, forget the tight end, forget Saran Stacy. They go to Scott Cooper. And Scott Cooper sneaks behind Kenny McIntyre, you can see McIntyre 28, the safety can't get over. They looked as though they were in a cover 2 with 2 safeties deep, and when they don't get a hit on the wide receiver, it stretches the safeties too soon.
You know, he's slow and he's small, Scott Cooper, but if you overlook him, he's going to punish you.
I don't know how slow he is either. He's got some good quicks.
First down. Ballard looks, has a lot of time, still has time, but can't find Scott Cooper in the end zone. But a lot of time for Ballard to look for a receiver there.
I think Jim Ballard took a shot on that last play, and he's still feeling it. He wasn't moving around. Look at how Scott Cooper moves around here, working on McIntyre. Right there is about the only time he has him, but by then, Ballard's on the flush. I think Ballard took a shot, though. He got up real slow the play before.
Ballard's numbers very impressive. This guy that played Division III college football just said he wants to show that he can play at a much higher level than that. Pump fakes, has to get rid of it. Finds Stacey, takes another hit. Stacey tries to cut back and will pick up 4 or 5 yards. Ballard looks to call a timeout with 43 seconds left in the first half. Ballard took a hit there again.
He took another hit. He's staying in there. I'm surprised that ball got completed. Well, you got to like a guy that takes time off in the middle of the season to go get married.
Yeah.
That's a good man right there.
42 seconds left in the first half. The Monarchs leading by 3, but looking for more. We're back after this.
Look, you have got to go to Office Depot
Welcome back, Nick Halling and Ron Pitts. And Ron, just before we went, you made the point that Jim Ballard actually left the team for a week earlier in the season to go and get married.
Yeah, well, you know, he wasn't quite sure this world thing was going to happen for him. They had made the plans, and, you know from experience in getting married that when you make those plans, my friend,
they're fixed in concrete.
And you pay that money, you darn sure better go through with it.
Third down for the newly married Jim Ballard. Touchdown, Yo Murphy. Second touchdown of the afternoon.
They run the double slant routes. You're going to see Cooper 81 come inside, and then Murphy's going to follow him. That gives a dilemma now to the safety. You see, they're not sure. Studstill didn't really know who to go to. As a result, they throw it to the second man in, Yo Murphy, for the score.
And no messing around with 2-point conversions here. Gavin Hastings attempts to get to the point. That one is good. And the London Monarchs are in trouble late in the first half here at Murrayfield. Although we have an injured Scottish Claymore down on the field. It looks like it could be Randy Bierman. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
This is called taken 2, 81. Cooper, he took the safety and the corner, and that left Yo Murphy inside, basically with no help inside, for the easy score. But that's Cooper right there. He's got to do a good job of selling that play inside, but he's going to get the football.
So a 10-point lead with 37 seconds remaining in the first half. But problems down here for one of the Scottish Claymores. Can't quite work out who it is. Well, when you think how the London Monarchs started off so fast, that smooth first drive, but we've seen this all season long, Ron. The London Monarchs offense gets off fast and then more or less vanishes, and that's happened again today.
And that's exactly what you mentioned, Nick. You're 100% right about that. They got off to that great start, and then they just couldn't follow up. And the Claymores have given them opportunities. We saw the extra point failure here, the interception.
That's Keith Wagner from the Washington Redskins, slow to get up. Well, it's the final week of the World League regular season. Next week, Amsterdam versus Frankfurt could be a World Bowl decider. The London Monarchs and the Rhine Fire will get down to business at Stamford Bridge in Chelsea, a new home for London, and the Scottish Claymores will finish off their season in the sunshine, hopefully for them, of Barcelona. Barcelona, the only team officially eliminated from World Bowl contention at the moment. And if the Rhine Fire hold on to that lead, they'll still be in the picture. It really is boiling up to a fascinating finish. Paul McCallum gets things underway. The London Monarchs with only a few seconds to try and mount.
He better get on that ball.
Profile Greer takes his time, gets past the first wave. Now, how much outside speed has he got? Not enough. He was tripped up Deep in his own territory by Frank Robinson.
Boy, the disheartening thing about that drive right there, if you're London, is look at the time. 4 plays, 46 yards in a minute. That's half the field in a minute. You can't play defense like that. I don't know if that's a sign of missing the fridge or what, but you definitely cannot play defense like that.
And with 25 seconds left in the half, you don't want to be at your own 10-yard line either. On the draw play, there you go, on the ground to Russell White, who's got some running room here. He's over the 30 and gets out of bounds near the 40-yard line with 15 seconds remaining in the first half. And they played White very soft there.
Well, you can't get too excited about that play. It is a good play. It did get some yards, but the Claymore's defense is playing way back. They're protected for the long touchdown bomb. But that's, once again, that's what I talk about. You got a guy like a Russell White, and he's been nicked up, but you got a Gaston Green. And then you have a Vincent. You got too many backs. I think you got to find a way to use these guys. And granted, Lionel Taylor hasn't had enough time to figure that out, obviously, but that's just a lot of talent back there, and there's only one football.
Jones finds Russell White again. The clock continues to run. White's got to get himself out of bounds. Stays on his feet. Mark Sander missed the tackle. Eventually gets him. With 5 seconds left, and they've might have given themselves a chance for a throw to the end.
Yeah, now see, Claymore should remember that real well, because that's exactly the kind of thing that he did to him in the first game that led to that field goal opportunity to win the game.
We hear the Amsterdam Admirals have just scored against the Rhine Fire. That's in the fourth quarter. If Amsterdam win that, it's straight down to Amsterdam versus Frankfurt for the World Bowl next week. The Rhine Fire have to respond. First down, 5 seconds left. This will do it for the first half. London 40 yards out. And it's just throw it and hope. Jones goes over the middle, has a man, but the clock has beaten the London Monarchs. They got it all the way down to the 15.
I don't understand
Time has run out.
I don't understand that. I think you got to put that ball in the end zone. Take a shot.
So at the half, it's been Claymore's all the way, leading the London Monarchs 17-7. We're back in just a couple of moments.
This weekend, FX invites you to share a moment with the world. The World League.
Today's halftime highlights are brought to you by Ryder. We're there when you need us.
Welcome back to half. That keep head coaches up late. And in mind, we polled the coaches of the league to determine whom they consider the most dangerous players. On offense, checking in at number 3 is Amsterdam quarterback Will Fuhr. The league's top-rated passer, Fuhr has thrown for more yards and more touchdowns than any other quarterback. His 176 rushing yards rank 8th in the league, confirming his status as a dual threat. The number 2 vote-getter on offense is Claymore wide receiver Sean LaChapelle. As Steve Matthews' primary target, LaChapelle has racked up a 890-yard receiving season, by far the most in the league, putting him on a pace to smash the league's single-season record. Rhine Fire tight end Byron Chamberlain wins this year's coaches poll for the most dangerous offensive player. Allocated by the NFL's Denver Broncos, Chamberlain's 54 catches are 10 more than his nearest competitor. His 7 touchdowns tie him for the league lead with LaChapelle. The number 3 vote-getter on defense is Monarchs and Jerry Drake. As key man on London's goal rush line, Drake has 6 sacks, tying him for the league lead. Finishing second on defense is Frankfurt defensive end John Baker. Though an injury in Week 7 sidelined him for the season, he still shares the league lead in sacks with Drake and London's Horace Morris. Scottish Claymore's tackle Ty Parton wins this year's coaches poll as the most dangerous defensive player. Parton has been all that Claymore's had hoped he would be when they made him the #1 selection in this year's World League draft. He controls the line of scrimmage, anchoring a defense that has given up the fewest points in the league this season.
London Monarch running back Tony Vincent exploded into the consciousness of World League fans recently when he rushed for 350 yards in back-to-back games. Sharing the Monarch backfield with standouts Russell White and Gaston Green, he doesn't take his success for granted.
I'm fortunate enough that I'm the one that's running the ball right now because, I mean, we got a great group of backs here. I mean, we like to think that we have the best group in the World League as far as running backs because we got the names Gaston Green, Russell White, Profile Greer, myself. You know, so I've been lucky that I've had the hot hand the last couple of weeks.
Vincent's emergence for the Monarchs over the second half of the season almost never happened. Allocated to London by the Atlanta Falcons this spring, the 25-year-old Vincent explains the reasoning behind his two-game exodus from the team.
I was playing mainly fullback, which wasn't too bad, but Atlanta had sent me here to play mainly one back, you know, same type offense they run, the run and gun. And I wasn't really doing that here, so we decided that it was probably best for me to go back to Atlanta and go ahead and get into, we had a concentration camp come up in May and go through the passing camps and everything. And then LT called me up after everything had gone down, and basically it told me that he wants to run a little more one back and he wanted me to come back. So Atlanta coaches decided it was a good idea as well.
A solid 229 pounds, Vincent possesses deceptive speed, and more often than not, it requires a gang of tacklers to bring him down.
I know that I have the talent and the ability to play, and I'm trying to get that chance to, you know, show people that I can do that, as well as, you know, just the love of the game. I mean, this is a great game, and I mean, to be able to keep on doing it this long has been great, and I just want to keep on doing it for as long as I can.
And now AT&T presents the Play of the Week. The 6-1 World Bowl-bound Scottish Claymores travel to Amsterdam to face the explosive 3-4 Admirals. The Admirals jumped to a 10-point halftime lead, but the Claymores fought back to claim a 27-17 fourth-quarter advantage. Late in the game and down by 3, Admiral quarterback Will Fuhrer faced a third-and-long situation. Unable to find an open receiver, Fuhrer took matters into his own hands and scrambled 47 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. The score gave the Admirals a much-needed victory to keep their World Bowl vision within reach. AT&T salutes Will Fuhrer and his Play of the Week.
With Ryder, you can drive off with...
Scotland with a 10-point advantage over the London Monarchs in this unofficial Battle of Britain. I think if we take a look at the numbers from the first half, they'll show that Jim Ballard had a very impressive opening 2 quarters. 180 passing yards, but the rushing yards, well, surprisingly for the Claymores with Saran Stacey, virtually non-existent there.
But that is an awful good production numbers by a quarterback who's relatively new and getting in here and getting some playing time. But the stats are exactly a reflection of what the score is in a way, I think. With, you know, if you take away that last score there, that last scenario, because they're even. And London started out on fire, but then they kind of dropped off, and you see the time of possession in the Claymore's favor there by about a good 3-4 minutes.
Well, the Monarchs have to win here and then hope that Amsterdam lose. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Amsterdam late fourth quarter pulling away from the Rhine Fire, 24-14. And I think we can come back to the tiebreaker playoff picture in just a moment, because that's much clearer now. The Scottish Claymores with Marcus Thomas on the return. They fake the reverse, which is something that's done often, and the Monarchs have fought it. And Thomas has a lot of running room there. Roel Blenman can't get in. Thomas trips over his own man. But what a return for Marcus Thomas.
Boy, the special teams for the Claymores have made the difference, I think, in this game, because they made the difference in field position. Watch the fake reverse. All the white shirts. Even our cameraman for a second goes to the other side. But when you got that wall like that, you got some blue shirts. Nice block by Fuller.
Marcus Thomas, who doesn't get too much time in the backfield with Saran Stacey ahead of him, but a lot of people say this guy can play, and he's certainly taking full advantage of his special teams opportunities. Well, the London Monarchs, who've been in trouble really for much of that first half, are in trouble again because the Claymores have taken it all the way to the 41-yard line, and Ballard is going upstairs and has a man again. LaChapelle. No, they're saying he's out.
Boy, that's a tough fit. Nice play action. Quarterback half rolls out to his right and then tries to throw deep to the other side of the field. And actually made a pretty decent throw, but it was good coverage.
So that brings up a 2nd down and 10, and really you think that if the Monarchs want to try and establish anything in this game, they've got to try and hold the Claymores here.
And I'm not sure why they're not running the ball more right now.
Well, they're running it now. Saran Stacey cuts back with a huge hole to run through, and will pick up at least 9 yards, maybe even closer before Kevin Gaines stops him. But as I say, Amsterdam winning in Dusseldorf at the moment. If they hold on to that lead, Amsterdam host Frankfurt next week with everything on the line. The winner will play here against the Scottish Claymores in the World Bowl in 2 weeks' time. And 9 yards on the carry for Saran Stacey brings up 3rd down and short for the Scottish Claymores. Ballard looks, and there's nobody there, and they're going to be short. And if that was a trick play, I think it fooled everybody, including Jim Ballard.
Boy, that's a big-time mix-up there. You went from 3rd and short to now you're 3rd and a little bit longer.
Just go for it with toss. To the right again. All right, Rip.
Kreiner saying he's going to go for it.
He really has no reason not to. He's up 17-7. London's offense has somewhat sputtered. You're inside your opponent's 40-yard line. Why not go for it?
4th and a long yard. They pitch it back to Stacey, who is met and may be short.
Oh, that all depends on the spot.
That's going to be very close.
All depends on the spot.
And you know something, if the Monarchs have held here, that'll give them a big emotion lift. And they're going to have to call for the chains. And it's very close.
And that play is made all by Drake and Capes. Watch the right side of the defensive line for the Monarchs. Look how many white shirts are in the backfield. Rich Newbill coming over, making the initial hit.
Nick Smith was in there. Darren Studstill was in there. They swarmed to it, and I think the defense has held. And the Monarchs have something to celebrate. So a mix-up on 3rd down has cost them dear.
Watch the white shirts on the right side. They try the double team, but look at the fill right there. That's Kevin Gaines, number 25. He really helps make that play.
So the Monarchs will take over on their own 32-yard line, trailing by 10 when we return. Not been a very good afternoon so far for Lionel Taylor, head coach of the London Monarchs, although he'll have been pleased to see his team hold on 4th down there against the Claymores, because really, if Scotland had gone any further ahead, this game would have run away. But London have a chance to respond. Gaston Green goes in motion. They pitch it back to Tony Vincent, who looks to cut back. Doesn't get a lot before he's gang tackled. Brian Proby in there along with Joe O'Brien. That'll bring up 2nd and long. The Monarchs always tend to start well offensively, but as I said, they tend to fade away, especially in the second half, as those numbers confirm. And a gain of 1 yard for Vincent will bring up 2nd down and 9.
See, when you put yourself in 2nd and long situations when you're behind, you almost have to now go to the air for the next 2 downs.
Hinchcliffe and Howard are the wideouts. Gaston Green in the slot. And the blitz comes, but they get it off to Tony Vincent, who's got a lot of running room and will pick up around 11 yards. Forey Duckett eventually on the stop, but a 1st down for London.
Nice little check down there using Tony Vincent out of the backfield. Once again, another good back for the London Monarchs that we've seen a lot of lately. He's had some big games, but you wonder at times, do you see enough of it?
The Monarchs need points out of this drive, no question. Just to establish some confidence and just to reduce that 10-point deficit. The opening drive impressive and nothing since. Vincent picks his way through a lot of holes and another 1st down. George Coghill eventually stopping him. but releasing Vincent could be the key.
This play here, they're bringing the tackle around for the trap. That's why they call it a trap. They sucker that defensive lineman into the backfield, and next thing he knows, he gets ear-holed right there. Boy, Vincent's going to have I think he's got a pretty decent shot. In Atlanta, his competition will be, of course, the head, Ironhead Hayward, for the job there because of the offense they're running.
Vincent carrying for a good 5 or 6 yards before he stopped. Mark Sander, yeah, you think Tony Vincent 350 yards in 2 games for the London Monarchs, but then in the rain in Barcelona last week where nobody could really do anything, 13 carries, 13 yards.
Yeah, but, you know, like he told me the other day, it's a tough situation. You know, he can run the ball. He's a fullback that can run for you and make yards, and that's good, but in a run-and-shoot offense like Atlanta has, their fullback is there to do one thing, and that's run the football inside for tough yards and block.
5 yards on the carry from Vincent. 2nd down and 5. Jones will throw. Sander comes after Jones, and a second sack of the afternoon for Mark Sander. The Monarchs never saw him first time. They never saw him that time either.
Sander came inside. He picks his spots. Right inside, right between the tackle and tight end. He'll take credit for the sack. But downfield, the corners for the Claymores did a nice job in bump and run. Hinchcliffe got completely shut down at the line.
The dime package in, 6 defensive backs as they go upstairs, and it almost intercepted James Fuller. Had it bounced out of his hands by George Coghill, his teammate. They were looking for Mike Titley. Fuller couldn't hold on.
Ray
Wills, incomplete.
Ray Wills, the defensive coordinator for Scotland, said Fuller is a guy who's ready for big time. He can go to the big boys. He can come up and play the run tough, and he can catch the ball. You see here, his own man comes up and makes the hit and knocks the ball away. Coghill hits Titley so hard, he knocks into Fuller before he can pull the ball down.
Sonny Fexico kicks to Marcus Thomas, who's had 2 excellent returns already. But he has no shot at that one. Turns into an excellent kick.
Great kick.
Sonny Fexico, who's done everything you could ask of him there. It's inside the 10-yard line at about the 7 of the Scottish Claymores. So a long way to go for Jim Ballard when we return.
They're still back there.
Don't worry, love. You're riding in the world's first sport utility wagon.
I am.
That's right. This here's the all-wheel drive Subaru Outback.
That's great.
You know, it's got more cargo space than a passport.
Uh-huh.
The ground clearance of an Explorer.
Yeah, but...
Oh, did I mention, it gets much better gas mileage than a Jeep Cherokee.
Outback, you say?
Subaru Outback. The world's first sport utility wagon.
If you love the mouth-bending blast you get from a Butterfinger, but just want a little, now you can have it with Butterfinger BBs. Bite-sized bursts of crispity-crunchity Butterfinger that give you blast after blast. Have a Butterfinger blast from Nestle.
Once upon a time, there was a fairy princess who looked a lot like you. And she had a magic wand, too.
Action Lane remembers the old porch gliders, but ours have comfortable padding and a unique gliding mechanism for a smoother, gentler ride indoors.
Once upon a time, there was a fairy princess. Your grandpa used to say it was just like me.
Introducing the new glider recliner from Action Lane. Call 1-800-700-1233 for your local dealer and a free buyer's guide.
With Ryder, you can drive off with great rates. So whether it's cross-town or cross-country, don't make a move without calling Ryder first. Call 1-800-GO-RYDER.
I don't care what you have to do to catch the ball. Imagine it's the thing you want most in this world. Just catch it!
It all comes down to this play.
A&W root beer. When you want one, you want one.
Welcome back to Murrayfield in Edinburgh, Scotland. Nick Halling along with Ron Pitts. The Battle of Britain. The Scottish Claymores leading the London Monarchs 17-7. The fourth time these two teams have met. Ballard drops, looks, picked off. Darren Studstill. And the first badly thrown ball of Jim Ballard's afternoon, and it's given London excellent field position. And Darren Studstill with his 5th pick of the year.
Bad decision. He had the play action, the right play. He should throw to Tate right there, 85 in the middle of your screen. Why he throws there, I have no idea. Boy, that's the kind of throw and decision that Jim Kreiner was trying to get out of the system. That was some of the stuff that Steve Matthews did that was driving him crazy.
Well, nobody needed to tell Jim Ballard that was a badly thrown ball, and it's given the Monarchs a first down at their opponent's 17. Vincent plows his way inside the 15 to about the 13. That'll give him 3 or 4 yards. Joe O'Brien in on the stop. But for the Monarchs to keep this game alive, they really have to try and punch this one in. Tony Vincent really leading the way on the ground for them as he does, although Russell White picked up some good yardage late in that first half to kind of inflate that number a little bit. Second down and 6 for the London Monarchs, trailing by 10 points. Third quarter, Jones looks to pass. Swings it, but throws it away. And that'll bring up a third down. James Fuller was all over Russell White.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Wilsey came with the inside blitz again with Mark Sander. He called the dogs off the last 2 plays, but he knows he's got that ace in the hole, and he knows that they had trouble up front adjusting to it. And you may see it here.
Jason Buck, number 92, the former Cincinnati Bengal, is in the lineup for the Scottish Claymores. He only landed in Britain this morning. Had his physical here in the stadium early this afternoon and straight into action. Jones throws, fires, gets Ed Howard, who is tackled by James Williams, but they'll move the chains. But how about Jason Buck, who only landed this morning, traveling all night, the former Cincinnati Bengal, and he's pressed into action straight away. Just for one play, though, he's checked out again.
He needed a blow. James Williams has got to come up on that play. He's back off 6 yards, 7 yards, and I realize the defensive call may dictate sometimes where he aligns. As we look at Jason Buck right there.
But the bad news for the London Monarchs, Amsterdam have beaten the Rhine Fire. That means whatever happens here, the Monarchs are eliminated from the World Bowl. Jones on first down fires, and it's tipped, broken up by James Fuller.
Well, I know one thing. The worst thing you can do is come to a stadium having to win yourself and trying to look up at a scoreboard to see what someone else is doing. And I would hope, for their sake, that they didn't go in at halftime checking that score out and get a little depressed.
Double angle. Let's go. Hurry up. 25 seconds.
Well, how ironic it would have been if they'd scored a touchdown at exactly the same moment that their World Bowl hopes had ended. Didn't quite happen for them, but they need to get a touchdown here to keep this game alive and reduce that deficit. On second down, Jones will pass again, and it's tipped in the air once again. 2 passes, 2 tips, and a flag. Mark Sander.
That looks to be on London.
Of the action. 2 tips from this Scottish Claymores defense, but don't like to give it up this close in. Let's hear the reason for the flag.
Pass interference against the offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot.
And that's an expensive penalty for the London Monarchs. 10 yards will bring up second and goal from about the 14.
Well, London shouldn't even think about coming away from here with anything less than a touchdown. I think they got to at least, worst comes to worst, get 3 points.
When you think it was first and goal at the 4, it was second and goal at the 14. Larry Wallace goes in motion Pressure comes. Jones has to swing it out to Vincent, who's
nice
smart,
move.
spins away from the first guy. Great moves from Vincent. It'll only get him about 4 yards. Jason Buck was in on the play as well, on the stop. The guy who only landed in Great Britain earlier today.
Watch the move here by Tony Vincent. He sees the pressure coming here at Sander. Nice spin move for a big guy. Talking about 6'1", 230 pounds. Jason Buck getting in on the action. We don't even know how good a shape Jason is in.
He probably doesn't even know what continent he's in. 3rd and goal on the 10. 4 yards from Vincent. Jones gets pressure from both sides. Looks for Larry Wallace. Got him.
Nice
Touchdown.
play. Perfect route.
Forey Duckett was spun around by Larry Wallace, and the Monarchs are back in this ball game.
They're running what's called the post corner route. He looks off the safety there, and he's going to try to fit this ball in the corner of the end zone, in between the defender and the pylon. They got Forey Duckett. That's just a good throw. I mean, Forey Duckett has to make them make that throw to beat him.
Kevin Hurst, who's had a couple of misses recently. Not this time. And the London Monarchs have reduced the deficit. 6:06 remaining, 3rd quarter. It's 17-14. Scotland over London. Here at Murrayfield in Edinburgh, we got ourselves quite a ball game. The old enemy, England, in the shape of the London Monarchs, have got themselves back in the ball game. The Claymores had that 10-point lead. Preston Jones to Larry Wallace has reduced it to 3. That's the bad news for the London Monarchs. Results elsewhere, particularly in Dusseldorf this afternoon, where the Rheinfire lost to the Amsterdam Admirals, means that they cannot now go to the World Bowl in 2 weeks' time. Roger Ruzek, the former Dallas Cowboy and Philadelphia Eagles kicker, will kick it off from his own 30-yard line. Martin Flags come in.
Number 9, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, will re-kick after a 5-yard penalty.
That's one of the new rules this year, as well as in the NFL. They do not let the kicker sit up there and squeeze the ball and touch the laces and do all that stuff they used to do. He's under the clock, too. He's got to line it up and kick the ball.
This has got to confuse an old veteran like Roger Ruzek, surely, that's been around the league for so many years, all those years in Dallas and Philadelphia. And suddenly he's got to hurry it up. So, another break for the Scottish Claymores, who have Marcus Thomas, that dangerous return man, standing at about his own 14. James Williams is back there with him. They faked a reverse last time. And Ruzek is kicking away from Thomas, so Williams fields it around his 18-yard line. And Williams, with a lot of blocking, gets all the way past midfield, and special teams dominated by the Scottish Claymores this afternoon. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the Amsterdam Admirals beat the Rheinfire, so that means that Amsterdam and Frankfurt will battle in Amsterdam next week for the right to join the Claymores in the World Bowl. Barcelona, London and the Rheinfire officially now eliminated. And if the Claymores hang on to a win here, they'll finish with the best record in the World League this season, whatever else happens, which was certainly a source of some pride to this team. They want to finish top of the pile. We have a London Monarch player shaken up on the field. Looks like Nick Smith just took a knock on that return. Marcus Thomas did the damage for the Scottish Claymores earlier. James Williams on that return. London have struggled on special teams play all season long. When you just get a touchdown back when you're trailing, you don't want to see the return coming up past the halfway line.
Well, it's all about field position. It's like war. It's territory. It all starts with good or bad territory.
Jim Ballard, who threw an interception last series, has a man, Sean LaChapelle, who doesn't get past Kevin Gaines, will pick up about 8 yards and bring up a 2nd and 2. LaChapelle been relatively quiet by his standards. This guy playing hurt, he's got a viral problem.
LaChapelle, one of the things that he does do well is he runs good technical routes. That time doesn't exactly come back to the football like he should on a good hook route, but He felt he had enough space that he didn't have to.
They gave him 9.5 yards, so second and not a lot here for Jim Ballard, who pitches it back. Saran Stacey looks to cut back and was strung out and will lose a couple of yards. Rick Newbill applying the finish. And the Monarchs defense holding firm.
LaChapelle was interesting when he told us the other day about when he first came out of UCLA and went to the Rams. He didn't back in '93. He said he learned absolutely nothing. He had a rookie wide receiver coach, and he was a rookie, and he just didn't learn anything. Now in Kansas City, with Al Saunders, he feels like he's learning an awful lot, and he's growing every single week that he goes on the field to practice and play.
And as he said, in these 8 weeks in Scotland, he's got all his confidence back. On 3rd and 2, Ballard has a wide open man but can't quite find Saran Stacey, and that'll disappoint the Claymores, who had second and less than a yard, and they're going to have to kick it away.
He might have looked somewhere else, and one of the things that'll take away a deep route is good bump and run. Watch the bump and run here by McIntyre. He gets him to jump a little bit inside, and then he gets on that inside hip. Remember the throw that LaChapelle caught earlier in the game on that seam pattern? Well, Kenny McIntyre took that away.
So Paul McCallum will kick it to Kenny McIntyre, who's standing at his own 10-yard line. McCallum puts it high up in the air. This could land anywhere. And it takes a super bounce for the Scottish Claymores, and it's down by David Wilson at about the 1-yard line. Special teams play coming up big time for the Scottish Claymores once again. You can't do better than that. 2 weeks from now, these Claymores will be hosting the World Bowl. That question mark almost filled now. It'll be Amsterdam or Frankfurt here at Murrayfield in 2 weeks' time to battle the Scottish Claymores. Amsterdam and Frankfurt, by coincidence, played in the last World Bowl a year ago. Amsterdam at home, but losing to the Galaxy. And they'll be at home next week as well, looking for revenge. Well, they've marked it at the 2-yard line, so the London Monarchs have 98 yards to march with 3:58 remaining, third quarter, and trailing by 3. Preston Jones looks, audibilizes. There was some movement there and met almost at the line of scrimmage. Brian Proby and Mark Sander gave Gaston Green nothing there.
Joe O'Brien made that play, number 90. He came off the ball so fast at the nose tackle position. He'll be right inside. He pushes the center 2 yards in the backfield. By the time the back gets the ball, there's nothing but blue shirts there. Look at the center. That's unbelievable. That is a great job right there. That's what you call getting moved. Mark Lamb's worried about the blitz one play, and
deep in his own end zone, throw it, and they're looking for Ed Howard, and it's incomplete. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 11 from their own 1-yard line. George Coghill had coverage on Ed Howard. The Claymores weren't fooled.
Now, we talked about field position earlier and how key it is. London is not in a position now in the normal circumstances on the field where they have to throw the football and air it out. 14-7, they can work their offense. But because of the kick and the bad field position, they got to get out of this hole. So they have to pass.
And they want 4 or 5 yards just to give Sonny Fexico a chance to have a normal kick.
Exactly.
He's going to be jammed up if they get nothing here. Jones drops right back to his end zone, looks for Ed Howard, can't get him. And the Monarchs are going to have to punt from their own 1-yard line.
And poor Sonny now, he's got to sit with his heels at the chalk, and he cannot move backwards at all and try to one-step that ball out of there.
That's okay. That's all right.
You wonder if it's almost worth taking a safety in this position.
Hey, you can't wait. He's going to throw the ball. You got to run. Hell, you stop, he throw it over your head. Let's go.
He's on Edwin Howard. Edwin Howard should have kept running, he says, on the route.
Mexico manages to get it off, and it's a good kick. Marcus Thomas fields at his own 42-yard line. Thomas, who's been so dangerous this afternoon, has done it again for the Claymores, all the way back to London's 36. It could have been worse for the London Monarchs. Victor Exabubadike on the stop.
Sonny Fexico is just killing him on the punts. He's kicking so low.
Well, there's 6 teams in the World League, and they play a 10-game schedule. This is week 9 of that schedule. It all ends the regular season next week, and then the World Bowl in 2 weeks' time. The Scottish Claymores are going to be there. They have a 3-point lead against their arch rivals, the London Monarchs. They have a 2-1 series lead. And they have a first down in their opponent's territory. And they give it to Saran Stacey, who gets inside the 30 and will be close to first down yardage. Andre Allen in on the stop.
Hey, I would run to that side, too. You got Purvis Hunt, 79. He goes 383 pounds. Then you got Keith Wagner, number 78. He's 308 pounds. Let's see if Saran gets touched here before he gets 5 yards. Well, that reminds you of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. They're just getting in people's chests and moving them.
And it's a first down for Stacey. Late third quarter, the Scottish Claymores looking to extend this 3-point lead. Stacey doesn't quite get so much this time. Gang tackled, everybody was there.
Yeah, you're right about that, everybody.
Stacey's good, but he can't get through a white wall. And they've given him a couple of yards, tough yards. Second down and 8 for the Scottish Claymores.
Saran Stacey's got to be more consistent. And when I say more consistent, he's got to be more consistent every down. You know, he'll have a good down, and then another play, he'll have a not so good down. And I think that's just one of the things that's keeping him out of the NFL.
Ballard fakes to Stacey this time. The pressure comes from Blaine Berger. Ballard still on his feet, and still on his feet. And a heads-up play gives the Scottish Claymores a first down. Andre Allen eventually on the stop, but Jim Ballard held his nerve in a pressure situation.
He wanted to go to the right side on the rollout play action, but it was a good jam by McIntyre on LaChapelle. So now he does his best stand-up routine.
And a first down. This may be the last play of the third quarter. We're down inside 25 seconds. They pitch it back to Saran Stacey, who falls over his own man. It was Ron Dickerson who was on the floor. In fact, it was Dickerson, and there won't be much on there. Maybe a yard for Stacey. Jim Kreiner hoping his team can just build on this lead. And that will do it for the third quarter. The London Monarchs trailing the Scottish Claymores 14-17. We're back in a moment. It's between them.
Not at all.
Now it's a second down and long for the Scottish Claymores. This a big defensive stand for the London Monarchs. Motion in the backfield from Stacey. Ballard takes a deep drop, gets hit, and goes down. Greg Black involved in the thick of the action. Ballard waited too long.
Yeah, you know,
first sack of the afternoon.
He just has he's got time to throw the football, but there's no place to throw. And he's getting ready to let it go, but Black comes around the corner.
And Jerry Drake there underneath as well.
Boy, that's about the first time today I've seen somebody come around the corner on Keith Wagner.
Jerry Drake now leads the World League in sacks. That will be his 7th of the year. And it's third and long. This London Monarchs defense has tightened it up when they've had to. Ballard swings it out to Jared Kayahilo, who's going to be pushed out of bounds about 8 yards short. And they'll have to send out the field goal unit. And it's Paul McCallum who's going out. Gavin Hastings had an attempt from 24 yards out and failed. So it's back to Paul McCallum.
Well, they definitely need to make sure they get some points on this time down. In a 17-14 game, you're not out of danger by any means.
It's going to be a 31-yard field goal, which is easily in McCallum's range.
Bad snap.
But it's handled by Willie Tate, and the kick is good. And the Scottish Claymores have a 6-point lead, courtesy of Paul McCallum. It's 20-14. Just over 14 minutes minutes left in the Battle of Britain between the Scottish Claymores and the London Monarchs. And for all the dominance that the Claymores have enjoyed in this game, it's still just a 6-point lead that they have. And Profile Greer will return from his own 10-yard line. Very tentative Greer. This is not like him at all. He came into this game as the leading kickoff returner, but he's looked very tentative this afternoon. But this rivalry is still very, very intense. And England normally do pretty well when it comes to rugby. We've got the edge there. I say we, being an Englishman. When it comes to soccer, we've got a slight edge there.
You're not slightly partial in any of this, are you? Okay, I just wanted to double check that.
When it comes to the World League, it's 2-1 to Scotland, and if this thing doesn't change, it's going to be 3-1. And that sticks in the throat.
You weren't real happy with that soccer game the other day, were you?
Not at all. 1-1 draw with Switzerland. It was terrible.
Back to football.
Preston Jones looks one way, goes the other, has a man. First down, a pickup of 16 yards. James Fuller on the stop. Ed Howard gets the chains moving.
Ed Howard's trying to bounce back from not running that route right the last time, and Lionel Taylor got on him a little bit. He's going to work inside the middle of the field. But like we've said before, the linebackers got to take this away. They got to stay back, keep their depth. And that's right where you want to throw that ball, too. Low and away.
First and 10, London. Down by 6, but with a lot of pride at stake. Pressure comes. Jones has Larry Wallace wide open, who's down to the 40-yard line. Forey Duckett in on the stop. Larry Wallace just seemed to slip, but he was wide open.
You look at Preston Jones' percentage of completions before this game, only 49%, but the ones he makes are key pickups. And he takes shots in the pocket. Both quarterbacks have taken them, but he took them from about 3 or 4 guys. Only bad thing about a pocket, it's going to close up real fast.
And when you're a quarterback like Preston Jones, who admits, he says, I'm a pocket passer. If I start running around, you know we're in trouble. First down, London. At Scotland's 42, impressive passes. And make that a third one, although if that's incomplete, Russell White. James Williams on the coverage. It would only have been a couple of yards. And there's Ray Wilsey, Scotland's defensive coordinator, the former London Monarchs head coach back in 1992.
Also defensive coordinator for Frankfurt.
This guy's got more rings than anyone else in football.
He's got rings everywhere.
He's working the second hand already. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 World Bowl rings, 2 Grey Cup rings. Incredible collection. Second down and 10. Motion from Russell White. Jones gets pressure, finds White over the middle. White turns one way, turns the other. Can't get away from Mark Sander, and a pickup of 5 yards. Ray Wilsey getting his defense to adjust. And there's confirmation of those incredible numbers from Ray Wilsey. He was a player back in 1954 and a player coach the following year, and then picked up a couple of Super Bowls with the Raiders, then in Frankfurt last year, and in London in the very first year of the World League as defensive coordinator. These things just seem to keep following him around. Third down and 5. Pressure comes. Jones over the middle. Looks for Russell White. Incomplete. Frank Robinson on the stop. Jones got licked again.
Oh, but the rush from the blue shirts is intense right now. They pick it up for a while. But when I say a while, I mean a while, because as soon as that ball is gone, Jones starts taking shots. And what that'll do is make him throw that ball. That ball's got to be caught. That ball has got to be caught. He put it where he had to put it.
Well, now look at this. Roger Ruzek will attempt a season-long 52-yard field goal. The timeout from the Scottish Claymores.
A full team timeout.
Well, this is long for Roger Ruzek. He has a long this season of 39. This is ambitious. He tried a 50-yarder in a game earlier in the season that was finished about 20 yards short.
You know, it's so important where they put that ball in terms of on the hashes. A lot of times you'll see teams purposely run a play just to get the ball in the middle of the field from this distance, because some kickers, kicking soccer style, quote unquote, have a hard time making up for that angle. And in college, it used to be even worse. They've adjusted it, but in college, it was horrendous.
And Roger Ruzek being given plenty of time to think about this one. reduce the deficit
for Roger,
a couple of points if he could make it.
Roger was in Dallas during the hard years, 87, 89. The Cowboys, they weren't getting much respect back then.
Yeah, always tough to leave a team just as they go on to great things. I mean, Ron Pitts obviously played for the Buffalo Bills, but you were out of there just before the Bills managed to get all those Super Bowl appearances together.
Yeah, well,
you must have sat there and watched those guys go to the Super Bowl and thought, yeah, maybe I should have hung around another year or two.
It was like a Henny Youngman joke, you know? A bad Henny Youngman joke. Take our DB, please.
Well, the Scottish Claymores have got the biggest crowd ever here for this game, just over 15,000. 15,601. That'll push their average up just a little bit. And they come out in growing numbers up here in Scotland. This team that didn't win a game at home last year hasn't lost at home this year. What a turnaround that's been.
This will be 4 points.
Just to confirm, in 2 weeks' time, these fans and a lot more will be back here as everything goes on the line in the World Bowl. Scotland will play Amsterdam or Frankfurt. Roger Ruzek won't be there, but he'll want to nail this 52-yard kick. And movement on the line.
They got him. They got him. I don't know if they ever intended to kick that ball. And if they did...
Big Gerald Jeffcoat took a jump, and he'll be cursing himself.
The set formation by London was all designed to pull him off. They all went down to set position. Jeffcoat jumps offside.
Prior to the snap, the offense simulated action at the snap. False start, number 82 in the offense.
Well, that's going to get Mike Titley.
Previous spot, repeat, 4th down.
And the London Monarchs don't like that at all.
Wow, simulated action of the snap. Well, that's a form of encroachment, but going down to set position. Boy, I don't. That's hard. That was hard to see.
Well, certainly from the way Gerald Jeffcoat reacted, he thought he'd been nailed. He wasn't trying to point any fingers, and it means that Roger Ruzek is out of there. Sonny Fexico stays in, but not as holder, as punter this time, and the dangerous Marcus Thomas lies in wait. They went after Fexico. He got it off. Thomas lets it bounce into the end zone. Roel Blenman chasing it in, couldn't quite stop it. So 11-11 left in the ball game. The Claymores ahead by 6, and they'll have the ball when we return.
Taking care of business. Office Depot is bigger and better than ever, with more brand name office supplies than ever before. With more superstores nationwide, more top-brand business machines and computers, more software titles and computer accessories, more office supplies and furniture at guaranteed low prices nobody can beat. Taking care of business.
Office Depot, taking care of business for companies of every size, everywhere, every day.
With Ryder, you can drive off with great rates. So whether it's crosstown...
This is a field goal from a play at go. What happened is the offensive line of the Monarchs doesn't all go down at the same time. Watch the right side. They're going to go down to set position. Now here comes the left, see? In other words, that's a form of offsides, a form of encroachment. And that's what the referee called when he said simulating the snap.
So it gives the ball back to the Scottish Claymores, and movement at the line once again. Saran Stacey is met by Darren Stuttle after a pickup of around 6 yards. Interesting to see Stacey still in the ball game. There is a school of thought that says you want to keep these guys fresh now for the World Bowl.
Lewis Capes jumps inside there a little bit.
But no flag.
But you're right about that. At what point do you start to take these guys out of the game?
I think another touchdown, and you're going to see a lot of backups coming off the bench. 2nd down for the Scottish Claymores. Again, it's on the ground. Again, it's Saran Stacey who tries to work his blockers. Probably have a 1st down. Nick Smith on the stop, but Stacey should have done enough to move the chains. And I'm sure this is going through Jim Kreiner's thoughts right now. We haven't seen that much of La Chapelle. Stacey's still in there.
Well, I still think Jim Kreiner doesn't really believe he's out of trouble yet. Now, regardless of what the game means to London at this point, I don't think he believes that he's safe, and he would like to at least get another field goal on the board, like you said.
Just 6 points the lead. Ballard drops, goes over the middle, and it's complete for about 9 yards to Willie Tate. Rick Newbill in on the stop, but second and short for Jim Ballard and the Claymores. Jim Ballard's numbers. Well, there's an interception in there, but apart from that, he's made a lot of good decisions, and I think will come out of this game with his stock considerably increased.
And you know that you got to look at what that interception was. That was just a real bad decision.
Second and short. The Claymores go on the ground once again. They've got a first down. Lots of pushing and shoving. Great penetration there. Jeff Hunter eventually in on the stop, but Stacy will move the chains again.
Here's an example of what happens when you don't have somebody like the Fridge down inside anymore. Whatever his shortcomings were, the fact is you got a big body that weighs an awful lot, and you're not going to blow them out of that middle like they're blowing out the interior line of the defensive line for the London Monarchs.
Lionel Taylor, the London Monarchs head coach, called a timeout with 9:01 left in the ball game. The Claymores leading by 6. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back to Murrayfield in Edinburgh. The Scottish Claymores leading the London Monarchs. Their travelling fans haven't had too much to shout about after that opening drive. The Claymores have been pretty much in control ever since Rick Newbill in on the stop there. Jared Kayahilo picks up 3 tough yards. That'll bring up second down and 7. Normally a blocking back, and a big blocking back as well. One of the guys that's helped Saran Stacey have such an outstanding season.
It's funny, Lionel Taylor came out during the break there, and he said to the defense, listen, nobody over here is down on you. All right, you just keep playing hard, keep your head up, and finish this thing up right. Keep playing hard. And I think that's good. That's something that, you know, coaches don't do a lot of. And that's what a defense needs to hear right now. They don't need anybody to pound on them and tell them what's going bad.
Lionel Taylor has impressed a lot of people this season. Ballard on second and long. Gets in trouble. Horace Morris tripping him up from behind. The big London fan favourite. But no celebrations from Horace, who knows that this job is a long way from being over. His team trailing by 6.
I'm trying to figure out how a guy can have 6 sacks but not be a starter and come in on third downs.
Well, they use him very much as a not-so-secret weapon these days, just as a pure pass rusher. If you actually look at his numbers for the season, he has more sacks than tackles. Very much a kind of hitman. That's his nickname.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's there to disrupt.
An assassin.
That's his job. No gain for Ballard. Third down for the Claymores. Ballard will throw, and does, and it's complete to the tight end, Willie Tate, who got there ahead of Andre Allen. First down for the Claymores. 7:23 left.
Tate just working on the linebacker. I believe that's Nick Smith, 56. Smith actually did a pretty good job of covering. He just ran a little curl route and finds the ball. Got just that little bit of separation. And I guarantee you he gave a little push off there. Actually, that's Andre Allen, 55. All good tight ends know how to push off just enough to get separation to get a clear view of the ball.
To London's 36-yard line. Saran Stacey is met and then manages to spin around and eventually is stopped by Nick Smith. A flag comes in, 2 flags in the backfield.
That might be face mask. Hard to say.
Great effort from Stacey, who was stopped originally and then just spun it around. Stacey, who was non-existent in the first half.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 56 on the defense.
That is Nick Smith.
15-yard penalty at the end of the run.
And that's
First
a big
down.
one. 15 more yards.
Yeah, they got him on the big 15er there. That means it was flagrant. If you just kind of nonchalantly put your hand on the mask, you get 5, but he kind of meant to rearrange his mask and put it on the other side of his helmet, so. Right here, Allen coming over.
Oh, not much doubt about
when you
that.
hold it on there and then pull it down, they're going to call it. And that's dangerous when he's got his head down like that and takes a shot.
Yeah,
that's
no
one
doubt.
reason that they flag a guy, because he's very vulnerable with his head yanked all the way down.
And you can't argue with that call. First down Inside the 20, Stacey, who is really building up a head of steam here, picks up around 3 or 4. Jeff Hunter in on the stop, and any time Saran Stacey's averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry, the opposition's in trouble.
Who is this in trouble?
George,
that looks like George
Coghill.
There's a reason you start getting your people out of the game if you're Jim Kreiner. You don't want to see, Ray Wilsey does not want to see his starting strong safety putting ice on his foot 2 weeks before the World Bowl.
George Coghill, this big hitting safety. Nice guy off the field, but I wouldn't want to meet him on it, I'll tell you. He hits. He hits like you don't like him, and he doesn't like you. Ballard on second and long. Finds a man, flag comes in. They've got Yo Murphy, and it's a touchdown if it stands. There are flags.
Murphy got called for pushing off once before. Let's see if he did it here. I see the blue shirts waving touchdown.
Pass interference, number 56 on the defense. Score the touchdown, penalty will be refused.
And it's another touchdown for Jim Ballard, his third of the afternoon, and that has given the Scottish Claymores a 12-point lead with the extra point to come.
Murphy worked on Sean Crocker inside. That stud still coming over. Actually, they were in a zone coverage, and they just found the seam and made a good throw.
Gavin Hastings with the extra point. Swirls its way through. 27-14 for the Scottish Claymores over the London Monarchs. And Jim Ballard, he loves it.
Yeah, I think Ballard will keep this job for a while.
And with 5:38 to go, the Scottish Claymores have put themselves in the driving seat in this one. And the fans love it. There is nothing a Scottish crowd loves more than to beat a team from England.
All right, well, you're going left with it now, deep, okay? Get some great coverage now. 1, 2, 3, cover! Yeah, we got somebody for you, I think. Good snap? Yes, yes.
The London Monarchs won the first meeting between these two franchises last year. They won it 11-10. Since then, it's been all Scotland. And if it stays like this, these fans will party long into the night. And a Scottish party, Ron, is something to be seen. The trouble is, you don't want to be seen after it.
I might have to check it out now that you went and said all that.
I was going to say, you're supposed to be not very well, Ron. A bit of Scottish hospitality would straighten you out for certain. And what a turnaround for the Scottish Claymores in their own backyard. They were terrible last year. Couldn't buy a break last year. They could do no wrong this year. Profile Greer mishandles the kick. Not much has gone right for the Monarchs, but, you know, Greer is still on his feet. John DeWitt eventually bringing him down at about the 24-yard line. And Paul McCallum has done his job.
McCallum came up and made a nice hit on Greer. Greer, of course, had some trouble handling the punt or the kickoff. Then does a nice job of getting free. But watch number 5 come out of your right part of your screen here and make a nice submarine tackle. He may have ice on his shoulder tomorrow morning, but he'll get credit for the tackle.
A typical kicker's tackle. He waited till somebody else had him first. Jones fires, intercepted. Arnold Alley, loose ball, and he fumbled it. Would you believe it?
Oh, and you know what? I was just getting ready
Mike Titley's recovered it.
I was just getting ready to pump up a nice UCLA boy there. Arnold Alley, and what does he do? He intercepts it, then fumbles it away. Good read and a good catch. You don't see linebackers catch balls like this. That's a good catch. But Arnold, you're not Gaston Green. Don't switch hands with the ball.
Titley did a nice job there.
That's a good slap. Titley knowing that there's a rather inexperienced person carrying the football.
London with a first down and a swing pass for Russell White, who does get past James Williams. Good second effort from White, who was stopped for a gain of 1 and will be close to a first down. Arnold Alley on the stop. You get the feeling the Monarchs haven't given this one up. There is pride on the line here. Certainly Russell White hadn't given up. It looked like James Williams had stopped him virtually at the line of scrimmage. But 9 yards later on, finally stopped.
About time for them to take a shot at Hinchcliffe somewhere.
Another swing pass, it's low, and they can't handle it. That'll bring up 3rd down and short for the Monarchs. If they're going to get back into this game, they're going to have to respond fast, because we're under 5 minutes.
They let a few seconds run off that clock.
And you know, on the Scottish sideline, George Coghill has got his right ankle bandaged up with ice. Jones has a first down, has a man. Arnold Alley eventually stopping Larry Wallace, but they'll move the chains.
Knowing that the Claymores are going to play extra deep, they're going to run the nice, simple underneath stuff. Just a bit of timing. Not bad coverage by Ale.
Jones had pressure. He's got a man. Mike Tiddley's beaten his man and cuts inside and has running room. And he's running rings around Arnold Alley, who eventually brings him down. Those two have spent a lot of time in each other's company this series. And Tiddley inside the 20 to the 19.
Tiddley dragging across the field. Corey Duckett looked like he came up to make the interception. Actually, that's David Wilson. And the only problem with driving to that inside shoulder like that, when you miss the ball, now you've missed the man as well. That's why you got to drive to the upfield.
From Duckett, but Jones gets it off, looks for Hinchcliffe, and it's broken up by David Wilson. Wilson on the field because George Coghill is off the field with an injured ankle. There he is. And George Coghill, such an important man on this Claymore's defense, the big hitting safety. But that doesn't look good. 2nd and 10 for the London Monarchs. If they can strike here, this one is not over. Preston Jones putting up some reasonable numbers. The blitz comes again. Jones gets the pass off, and a bump there. Frank Robinson went down. There's talk about an offensive pass interference call there, but no flags. So that brings up a 3rd down.
Claymores came with the blitz again, bringing Sander inside.
So the pressure on Preston Jones on the London Monarchs here. A 3rd and 10 at the 19-yard line. Willie Hinchcliffe is wide right. Ed Howard wide left. Larry Wallace in the slot. Vincent alone in the backfield. Got a man. Larry Wallace could be gone. Touchdown London. This one's not over.
Once again, David Wilson makes the same mistake twice, and this time he pays for it. You can't drive inside and not keep a hand on the receiver. Because if you miss the ball, you have nothing to make the tackle with, or not even a chance to make tackle. If you go inside to get that interception, you darn well better get it. Watch Wilson right here. He's going for the interception all the way. And in man-to-man coverage, if you miss that on your man, everybody else is locked up around the field.
Kevin Hurst, the former Leicester Panthers player, attempts the extra point. It wobbles through. And that was an important kick because it's reduced the deficit to just 6. And with 3:25 left, there's still a chance for the Monarchs.
Here's the play again. Wilson right there. He's got to know that he is not close enough to get that ball.
Forey Duckett.
And look at Forey Duckett. Forey Duckett is in man-to-man coverage. He's doing what he should do. As Hinchcliffe pulls him around there, he's doing what he should do. That is a big-time mistake. And one of the reasons cornerbacks are over here in this league, it's the little things, the very little things that get you in big trouble and get you beat.
So a 6-point ball game. Technically, it doesn't mean anything. The Scottish Claymores are already in the World Bowl. The London Monarchs can't get there even if they win this one.
Well, I'll tell you who it does mean something to. You're the Claymores. You don't want to sit here and go through a dog fight. You want to win this game, get it over with, and move on.
Willie, move up.
The harder they have to fight here, it's like boxing. The more it's going to take out of them later on. We already have one now. George Coghill not on the field.
Let's go back.
He's sitting.
Start it again. The back. Get tired. Come on out. You run right in. Where's Gassy?
Well, no, last drive, they brought the safety once to the corner off the slot twice.
Okay.
They go off the slot twice.
Well, tell her we got to get...
The kick is up, fielded by James Williams, who ripped one open earlier, and is tackled by Victor X. Ebubadike, the British national player. Good solo tackle from Victor X. But Williams got it out to about the 37-yard line, and Jim Ballard needs to keep his cool here, because any 3 and outs or any turnovers, and the Monarchs will be right back in this. What the Scottish Claymores need here is a long time-consuming drive just to put the Monarchs away.
I just can't keep going back to the fact that 34 George Coghill is on the sidelines injured. David Wilson comes in to take his place. 2 big mistakes.
Jim Ballard with 3 touchdowns and 16 completions from 23 attempts has probably done enough to keep this starting job till next week. And it's certainly a wake-up call for Steve Matthews, the previous incumbent. Ballard slips, manages to get it off to Saran Stacey. Smart play from the quarterback. Stacey spins and turns
what a
for first down yardage. It was nearly a 6-yard loss. Instead, it's almost a first down.
This is 2 great moves. One by the quarterback to stay on his feet here. Ballard with the half rollout tries to come back. Very alertly sees the pressure. His knee didn't touch. But watch the move by Saran Stacey right here. He's going to do a little in and step out. Boy, that was sweet. That's the kind of tape you want to send back to the pro scouts there.
9 yards on the completion as George Coghill watches in some discomfort. Well,
he didn't look like he's in too much discomfort. Maybe they gave him something.
2nd and short. And Jim Ballard on the quarterback keeper does enough working behind that big offensive line featuring all those NFL allocated players to pick up another Claymores first down. The word on George Coghill is a sprained ankle, by the way. So nothing too serious for him. And that's the 2-minute warning, with the Scottish Claymores leading by 6 and driving. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this. Saran Stacey closing in on history. Needs 3 more yards to become the first player ever to get 2,000 yards in World League history. 1st and 10 for the Scottish Claymores. Stacey gets it. Gets close to that record, may have it on that play. Looks like he's picked up 4 yards, so 2,000 yards on exactly 400 attempts. In other words, every time this guy has got his hands on the ball in his World League career, it's been for 5 yards.
You can win at 2nd and 5. That's an offensive coordinator's dream right there, to be 2nd and 5. Because now you got 2 more downs to get 5 yards.
And Saran Stacey gets an ovation for that achievement, and it's fully justified. A guy who never went to an NFL camp last season. For some reason, he was overlooked. Surely this year, he'll get a shot. Now the applause has died down. It's a 2nd down and 6 for the Scottish Claymores, protecting that 6-point lead with less than 2 minutes remaining. And the London Monarchs need another turnover here. Stacey gets the ball again, works the blockers again, and will pick up another 3 yards.
I think he was down.
They're saying he was down. Andre Allen was thinking 6. And it's going to be 3rd down and about 3. And the London Monarchs call timeout to stop the clock. Well, Jim Kreiner, we saw there looking on concerned. He knows that in 2 weeks' time, his team are going to be in the biggest game of the season, the World Bowl against Amsterdam or Frankfurt. And you've got to say that home field advantage is going to be important in this one because the Claymores have been unbeatable here this season.
Absolutely.
Jim Ballard gets the call as the game's most valuable player. Would you agree with that, Ron?
Absolutely. I think back to what Kreiner said about Matthews and taking him out. He said that I expect Steve Matthews to respond like a pro, and that's part of his maturing process, meaning that he doesn't expect him to sit on the sidelines under his helmet and pout. He expects him to respond, to play better in practice, because, you know, he's only one injury away from being back in the game.
3rd down and 4 for Jim Ballard, who was impressed today. Stacey. Met. Great second effort and gone. Put that one in the book. Touchdown, Scotland. He just exploded. The record setter sets the stadium alight.
Another great move. The pro scouts will count how many yards a guy makes after he's touched. He's touched once, he's touched twice, and the rest he just blows people away.
Sean Crocker can't get to him. The extra point is missed by Gavin Hastings. But nevertheless, it's 33 to 21 for the Claymores. Saran Stacey in the back of the taxi yesterday, and he was saying, "You've got to say hello to my mother for me," but I think he just did it.
This is a great run of just vision. The move right there is outstanding. I mean, he starts on the left side of Lewis Capes, a 294-pound body, and then sidesteps him. Capes gets nothing but blades of grass. Watch this here. Capes has him. I mean, he just completely sidesteps him. And then we talk about acceleration through the hole. Very fluid. Doesn't look like he's running. But if he's not running, then why is Sean Crocker trying so hard to catch up with him?
And failing. Couldn't get there. And that surely does it with 1:37 left. And how appropriate that the record setter, Saran Stacey, comes up with the goods. 42 yards.
And that's what we talked about in the open between LaChapelle, and LaChapelle made his big plays early, and this man right here, you've got to slow down these guys or stop one of them if you want to have a chance to beat the Claymore.
Mike Titley fields the squib kick all the way to his 45, and Saran Stacey was stopped in Amsterdam last week, just 4 yards on 10 carries. The London Monarchs shut him down first half here as well, but Saran Stacey has ripped them to shreds in this second half.
Well, they have a saying in NFL, you are what you are, and you know, I look at my sheet here, and the Claymores are #1 in the league in rushing offense, and they hold true to that today.
100 yards for Saran Stacey, and there's another guy who's done the job as well, Jim Ballard. Preston Jones. The Monarchs need a miracle. Mike Titley meets Mark Sander after 8 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down and 2.
Well, that's the kind of mix that the Claymore team needs right now. They need the run mix, and they got the pass mix working. That's what you want when you're going into a championship game.
Swing pass to Russell White, who has 1st down yardage, worked some blockers to the 37-yard line. But Saran Stacey, I said he was shut down in Amsterdam last week, shut down in the first half this week, but look at those second half numbers.
Well, I think score dictates that a lot, too. You know, when you're ahead in the game and you stay ahead most of the time, you've got a chance to establish your running game and stick with it. Saran Stacey's the kind of guy that needs to get carries. He needs to roll with carries. He can't have 4 or 5 and expect to get off to a big start.
1st down, London. Preston Jones goes over the middle again to Mike Titley, who's had a productive afternoon. It'll be a 1st down, 12 yards. Shannon Jones on the stop.
When you talk about guys that have had productive afternoons, you're absolutely right. Mike Titley has come out of the nowhere, really, and made some plays.
Joe O'Brien decided not to bother waiting for the ball to be snapped. Joe will no doubt say, hey, I was drawn.
Prior to the snap, offside on the defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
Joe was across the line of scrimmage there before anybody had even set. Meanwhile, on the other sideline, the Monarchs knew it was a long shot. It's gone now. Scottish Claymores, 33 points to bounce back from that defeat in Amsterdam last week, which embarrassed them a little bit, woke them up. Jones over the middle again, gets Mike Titley again. Good catch from Titley, who hung on in heavy traffic. David Wilson was there, but Wilson doesn't hit as hard as George Coghill.
Boy, he gets credit for not giving that ball up, too. He took a shot.
Last few seconds of the ball game, the London Monarchs looking for pride. Preston Jones swings it out to Russell White, who dives in. And they're saying he was down at about the 2-yard line, so with 17 seconds left, that'll stop the clock. In exactly the same position, we had all that confusion in the first half. When one official said touchdown, another official said, no, he was out of bounds at the 2-yard line. And nobody knew what was going on. Second down and goal at the 2. 17 seconds left before Scottish fans can start celebrating. Jones fires it over the middle. Mike Titley's got it. Touchdown. And Titley deserved that.
Next, let's go.
Why would you change anything you're doing? Stand up, throw the ball, or the guy's been catching everything. He's got possession, demonstrates possession. 2 feet down, across the plane of the goal line, touchdown.
Kevin Hurst to attempt the extra point. Surely it's too late for the London Monarchs. And Hurst drills the extra point. And it's a 5-point ball game. But the London Monarchs aren't going to have their hands on the ball next unless they can force a turnover. And with 13 seconds left, it would be a miracle if they could pull this one out. Well, they need an onside kick and recover it and a downfield strike.
We'll see the classic onside kick here, no doubt. Well, one thing you might want to watch in this onside kick, everybody has a tendency to focus on the guys all bunched up running down, but watch what happens to the poor guys in that front line. They get hammered. Because one of the jobs of the kickoff team, outside of recovering the football, is to pick out the first 2 guys they get to on the front line and run them over.
And you know who's in that front line? Willie Tate, Sean LaChapelle, James Williams. Saran Stacey is out there, for heaven's sake. All the hands, guys. Even Scott Cooper has gone back. Scott Cooper's gone back deep.
You know, I tell you, knowing that those guys are going to get hit, if you're Jim Kreiner, does it mean that much to you to put your guys out there, knowing you're already in the World Bowl, to put them out there in this kind of situation and risk getting a cheap injury?
LaChapelle is literally in the firing line, a guy that's backed up anyway.
He's all right. He's in that second line, but the guys up front.
Well, if the Monarchs recover this, it could yet be interesting. Roger Ruzek. The squib kick, it takes a nice hop and goes straight out of bounds, would you believe? And a flag comes in because the ball went out of bounds without being touched, but that's surely academic. The Scottish Claymores will get the ball back, and with 8 seconds remaining, that'll do it. Roger Ruzek came up with a good kick, but nobody could get their hands on it. Bit of an anti-climax there.
Hey, they didn't touch the ball. They didn't touch the ball. They didn't touch the ball. That's right. They didn't touch the ball.
Well, they're going to re-kick it. Lionel Taylor has intervened, so there is still a chance. And the 5 seconds that were taken off have gone back on.
Well, that's what Lionel was complaining about.
5-yard penalty. So, can the Monarchs come up with it this time? Is there yet to be a twist in this game?
Good bounce, a perfect bounce.
And David Wilson just batted it up in the air and got rid of the thing. In fact, it was Willie Tate, I think, that got his hand on it. Just knocked it out of bounds. The man from Kansas City who's come up with a couple of big catches in important situations. So with 8 seconds remaining.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. They're talking about something over there. See, what happens when he knocks that ball like that, that's actually considered a form of a muff. It can't be advanced, but it would go to the Claymores.
Jim Ballard named the game's MVP. Saran Stacey really has put the icing on that particular cake as far as the Scottish Claymores are concerned, and it's 3 wins out of 3 for the Claymores over the London Monarchs, and these fans love it. I don't know if Jim Kreiner loved that. Good game, well played. 33-28, the Monarchs made it respectable, but Jim Kreiner deserved that soaking. Ben Torriero, the guilty man.
Boy, Torriero doesn't stop. He takes the flag and runs it around the field. He gets the most out of his playing.
Jim Ballard's got quite a few friends on the London Monarchs. There he is talking to Chris Lundberg. And all smiles at the end, but a lot of those Monarchs defensive players were saying, we're coming after you, Jim. But they never really got him. He got them. And he's proved a lot of points this afternoon as Jim Ballard. So that will also confirm that the Scottish Claymores will finish with the best record in the World League, which is how it should be when you're hosting the World Bowl. And they will play Amsterdam or Frankfurt in 2 weeks' time. The London Monarchs will finish with another losing season. That's their 3rd in a row, along with the Rhine Fire. Those 2 teams meet next week at Stamford Bridge in Chelsea. And the Claymores will go to Barcelona next week, but with the World Bowl the week after very much in their thoughts. Jim Kreiner's done a pretty good job here. Turned them around from a 2-8 team last year to a team that could go 8-2 this year, and is definitely World Bowl bound against Amsterdam or Frankfurt. Ron, some final thoughts?
I think Jim Kreiner should be patted on the back for this week, because we talked about the riskiness of his decision, but from the looks and the numbers of Jim Ballard, he achieved exactly what he wanted to achieve. Jim Kreiner didn't say that this guy is just a flat-out better quarterback and Steve Matthews doesn't have a chance to be good and all that. He said that right now, Ballard operates our offense the way we want it operated, and that's what we need going into this World Bowl game.
Well, it will be tough to drop Jim Ballard from the lineup next week after this afternoon's performance. The game's MVP, Marcus Thomas there, his returns were also crucial. The Scottish Claymores winning by 5 points in the unofficial Battle of Britain. They'll be delighted with that. There's nothing these fans like more than to see an English team beaten on a sports field. The Claymores have done it for the 3rd time in a row. The Claymores putting the London Monarchs to the sword. The Claymores beating the Monarchs 33-28. For Ron Pitts, this is Nick Halling saying thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And there'll be more World League action for you next week as well. From Ron and me, bye-bye.